The election is extremely close. We have no idea yet who's won. There are several paths to victory for Donald Trump. Many people are saying it's looking like a Joe Biden victory. And I'm confused a little bit because I'm noticing in the chat, we have this live chat. There's a lot of people mentioning something. I think it's fraud.
Fraude?
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
Fraud? I don't know what that is.
I have no clue.
Something about impropriety in the election, but of course we know nothing like that would
That
ever
wouldn't
happen.
happen.
That wouldn't
That's
happen.
ridiculous.
That's completely
Look,
insane.
it was a great game. Donald Trump just played worse. No, in all seriousness, there are some concerns, and I definitely think there are some people who are overhyping certain things they don't understand. Like there's a video of coolers being brought in. It's like, what could it be? And I'm like, it could be Coke, like Pepsi's,
Coca-Cola.
If you got evidence, for real. My stance is, look, Trump should take every legal avenue he can. Joe Biden should as well. This is always going to be an extremely contentious race, and I think everyone's afforded their legal challenges. There are some weird things about this, and I think it's fair to point out. I don't believe personally that we should be counting ballots that come in after Election Day. And the Trump campaign has said that as well. That's going to be their big argument. So we're going to go through all this. We got some really interesting stuff to talk about. Notably, what I'm most excited about is the complete and total historic failure of the pollsters, the pundits, and the medias. They were historically wrong. Worse than 2016. Feels good. Anyway, we have Seamus.
It's good to be back, Tim.
Seamus Coughlin from Freedom Tunes.
From Freedom Tunes.
I get so mad when I call him that.
I'm so enraged. I'm livid right now. And I always play it off as a joke, but then after the podcast, I'll pull him aside and just like pick him up by the front of his shirt.
Seamus
and scream
Coughlin
at him.
of Freedom Tunes.
Seamus Coughlin of Freedom Tunes back at you. That's Freedom TOONS on YouTube. Y'all can also follow me on Twitter at Seamus Coughlin. Yeah, this election has been absolutely insane. It's obviously still possible for Trump to win. It's looking pretty good for Biden, but we don't know yet. I know people were posting that weird word in the chat.
Fraude.
I don't know. Yeah, I have no clue.
What is this
but
word?
I think it'll be interesting to look into it. Obviously, the Trump campaign is going to fight as hard as they possibly can to try to secure this election, as will the Biden campaign. We'll see what things look like in a couple hours. It's possible we won't know for another couple days.
I've got a bunch of stuff to pull up, and there's some interesting points being brought up. It's looking good for Biden, but we do have another guest joining us.
Oh snap!
Hello.
Who is this gentleman?
I got my Joe Biden mandatory aviators and mask.
And the mask.
The national aviators mandate and the national mask mandate.
That's right.
In anticipation for Joe Biden's.
Sorry.
Oh no!
That was one of the funniest things I had seen when Joe Biden took his mask off to cough.
I loved it. I was like, "What is he doing?"
He's a man of science.
Exactly. Well, because he doesn't want to like cough and get his own germs back in his face.
He wants to put them in his hand, and it was his right hand too.
So he
can give you the cough and the shake.
That is brilliant.
Cough and a shake.
I know.
That is brilliant. Yeah, I know that. Tim, you were mentioning you've been supporting Biden since day one.
You're
not worried about this.
I was the first person. I was saying just the other day, everybody go vote for Biden. I've always been for Biden.
He has.
See, Tim,
hold on.
Tim has been nothing but consistent.
Yeah,
That's true.
and he loves Biden.
And we have the videos to prove it.
We do.
And just I've created every day when I would record a video, I would secretly record another video that was pro Biden and put it up on a fake channel so that when all is said and done, I could switch the channel.
Smart.
No, I hear you, dude. Look, 6 years ago, when I started Biden Tunes, everyone said that I was crazy, that there was no way this would ever take
off. We don't
off.
even know who that is.
But I had faith in Joe Biden from day one.
It's funny because it's absurd. Nobody wants Joe Biden. Even the people who voted for him didn't want him.
Yeah.
That's what I gotta say. Actually, and this is Andrew. You didn't say your name. You just mentioned your aviators.
Look. Here's the situation.
Look fat.
Look.
Yeah, why would he say his name? I thought this was a disguise.
Right.
Hi, I'm Andrew from Don't Walk Around Productions, and of course I've been everybody knows me as a huge AOC supporter, but I've definitely been like the biggest Biden supporter.
We're all Democrats.
Day one.
We are,
Life, die on the wool.
The fact is that That's
No.
we get
She's the
we're gonna
boss.
get 4 years of that. It's gonna be amazing.
Oh my
It's gonna
There's,
be amazing.
I'm seeing a lot of people, and it's just like, dude, they're giving the left all of these cringe compilation tweets and everything. It's like, bro, if Trump loses, he loses, man.
Well, this is funny. That's actually why Tim brought me on. He's like, Shame is going to freak out if Trump
Yeah,
loses,
yeah.
and we want to get those
Yes.
hits on our channel.
I-
I
Need
want to
it.
be able to break the videos because I know that angry political videos are a gold mine. No, actually, I think the left is really salty. They're not getting those videos.
Yeah. I mean, because look, I'll be very, very sad if Joe Biden wins. I would not be happy at all with that outcome, as would neither of you, as far as I'm aware. But you got to be an adult at some point. I mean, there are better ways to cope with this than to fall to your knees and scream at the sky.
So I made a tweet where I said my thoughts. This is earlier. Actually, before we get into everything, make sure you subscribe, smash that like button, and we do the show Monday through Friday live at 8 p.m. But anyway, as I was saying, I made a tweet earlier where I said we were all talking downstairs, and I was thinking about what might happen. And I said my current thoughts are basically the media will call it for Joe Biden,
Yep.
meaning they're projecting him as the winner, but Donald Trump is going to take it to the courts, end up winning, and then the narrative will be Trump stole the election, like they did for George Bush. It was a little bit different. And I get inundated with these lefties, and they're saying things like Tim's making excuses, he's crying, poor baby, like Trump lost, and I'm like, I don't really like. I want Trump to win, but I'm not going to cry about it. It's like, and not only that, Republicans did an amazing job looks like they're holding the Senate. They've made 5 gains now in the House. Sean Parnell's winning.
Yes.
So it's not some blue wave. It's kind of everyone shrugging at each other right now.
Exactly.
It's like there's like low energy. I think Scott Adams tweeted, even the looters are confused as to what to do.
It's true, yeah.
Everyone's kind of like, I don't know what avenue. It's
Yeah.
kind of like a. But anyway, the funny thing is, I'm getting all these people tweeting at me like they're desperate for angry conservatives and Trump supporters to be like crying and dropping to their knees. And I don't think they understand the reason why everyone makes fun of them, not just conservatives. There's regular people who are watching these videos of them shrieking, and it's like, because you're nuts.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, if Joe Biden wins, I'm going to be like, I want Joe Biden to do the best as the president. I'm not going to drag him down like they did to Trump for 4 years. I'm really worried about reinvigoration of the Obama administration. I feel like he's going to put our troops back in the Middle East. He's going to find an excuse.
Exactly.
These peace agreements are going to start going onto rocky ground. And critical race theory is probably coming back. He's going to sign a bunch of these wacky intersectional policies that will strip the rights away from several people under the guise of giving them rights. There's a lot of things I'm worried about with the Biden presidency. But, and this may be to the detriment of the rational centrist, the enlightened centrists, conservatives, and liberals, in that, well, they used the riots and people still voted for them. They were able to coerce and threaten and scare people, but for some reason, Biden still end up doing really well. So again, I got to stress, we don't know who's going to win. Now, I want to make sure I clarify. Project Veritas says they've got like a ton of crazy stories.
Oh, I've heard.
If anything is going to come out that may make a big shift or a big splash, I think Project Veritas may have something. We'll see. But right now, Joe Biden.
And
pretty
if
good.
Project Veritas does have something, we are not going to discuss it because none of us want our YouTube channels deleted.
That's
I'll
correct.
discuss all of it.
Are you kidding?
sure
Tim, I
will.
thought we had an agreement before we started the
Well,
show.
they demonetized. I covered Project Veritas catching that ballot harvester lady, and they demonetized it and told me that I was mentioning things that could result in voter intimidation or whatever. And I'm just
Wow. Intimidate them
I
into
was
not
like, I
committing
talked
fraud.
about one lady. I specifically said in the video, there's not widespread voter fraud, but you should consider the power of one person with thousands of votes. So this is important, right? Veritas uncovered that woman who said for 55 grand, she would get them 5,000 votes. You see this?
Yeah.
Right now in Nevada, Joe Biden's lead is about 7,400.
Yeah, less than 8,000. Yeah.
That's what
so
Crazy.
one
We were
team
looking at
of
that
these people-
earlier.
That's why it's like very serious that, for YouTube to be like, we're going to demonetize this. Okay, well, there's still a lot of people to watch it. No, they should blast that stuff out there. They should be like, everybody watch. This is what can't happen. And we take it seriously. By hiding this stuff, what ends up happening is people see that and they go, why is YouTube hiding this? They don't want you to know what's going on. No, they should assure people and say, we take it very seriously. When we hear breaking news about fraud, we want everyone to know because it's very serious. Not
And
social media censoring everybody.
This is something that you should look out for.
Right. Something to be aware of.
As opposed to, it's not proven, it's conspiracy theory, it's just not, it's like, well, let's just
Investigate it.
If you see something, say something.
Right.
of course.
No,
know?
unless it's bad for the Democrats.
Well,
like,
Yeah,
shut up.
exactly. Well, no. If you're concerned about election fraud, then what you're supposed to do is to wait until after the election is over and then claim for 3.5 years that
it
the
was
president
Russia.
colluded with Russia, despite the fact that there's zero evidence that
Guys,
occurred.
Can we pick a country right now for Biden?
The Ukraine, of course. Kazakhstan's even better.
Borat.
Kosovo.
Yes, Kosovo.
Kosovo.
Okay, we got Kosovo.
They put up a memorial.
Did they really?
They did. Yeah, that's right.
Beau Biden, and they named a highway after him.
That does prove it.
That proves it.
That's it.
It's true.
There it is.
Kosovo was in the bag for Biden.
Yep.
So how do we get this out there? How do we get a special prosecutor and go after Biden? I'm kidding. Biden didn't win yet.
Yeah, they're actually going to take this seriously and pull the video down. They're like, this insane conspiracy theory.
You know what's funny? It's like when I tweeted that the media would call it, I got a bunch of people. Even Vosh was like, Tim, the media doesn't call elections. It's like, are you even watching the news right now? They literally do call them. They don't certify them. What is this? Like, all of these lefty journalists are like, Fox News calls this for this, calls this for that, calls this state for this person. They do. They make calls. That's literally what the point of the media is.
Well, I think they're the only ones who should be allowed to.
The New York Times thinks so.
New York Times made that very clear, and I trust them with everything.
So
I do too,
the context that the New York Times tweeted, it's like, what did they say? Like the job of the media?
Yeah, something
and like only the media to call the elections?
Something like, don't let the candidates call the elections. And isn't it funny? Isn't it funny that I think they said something, or Twitter said that they would not allow Trump to declare victory. And so Trump has been like technically not declaring victory. His tweets are pretty great, and some of them, I think one got deleted.
Yeah.
Did we ever get to the bottom of whether or not that was a typo, or whether or not Twitter deleted it? Because he reposted something similar, and I was looking at his feed, and like one of his tweets when I opened it had this whole little like caveat issued by Twitter about how this could be harming the integrity of the election or something stupid like that.
But in the meantime, Joe Biden on his website says, once all the votes are counted, we will win. It's like,
he had to issue a statement on that.
Can you imagine if Trump
said that? says Trump is positive about winning, and it's like, oh my God, it's voter suppression. I guess I don't know, but when Biden does it, it's like, old man.
Yeah, once the votes are counted, we will win.
Look,
that's a little bit.
We got Biden's website. It says, keep the faith. When all the votes are counted. Oh, is it not coming up?
Why is it not coming up? That's kind of weird. This is not my
Joe
fault.
Biden's website been
well,
hacked?
we're not showing the
by
screen
Russia?
For a nice change of pace, I was
What
not
happened?
at fault here.
Did
That's
something
weird.
break?
I'll check the connections.
Oh, heavens.
Carry on, please.
The Joe Biden website says, when all of the votes are counted, Joe Biden will be the next president of the United States. Keep the faith.
Sure.
Now, there are some news outlets that did call out Biden for declaring victory because his lawyer came out and said, we're winning, we've won, and
And I guess he could technically say he meant that we won certain states, and not necessarily having had like prematurely declared he won the election. But
and then like they both kind of gave these kind of weak victory declarations.
Yes,
like
last
Trump
night.
is like, and frankly, we won, we did win, or whatever. It's like he didn't exactly say
very good. It was a good election. We did great.
Look,
and then
I gotta be honest, man. There's two things. I'm seeing a lot of like. Have you guys seen the Sharpie Gate thing?
No, I saw you were talking about this earlier, and I saw a few tweets mocking it, but I didn't actually get into it.
So there's people saying right now that in Arizona, because they knew Trump supporters come out in person, they were giving them Sharpies instead of pens, so the Sharpies would bleed through and ruin and spoil the ballots or whatever. This is not true, to the best of my understanding. There are several local outlets that have talked about for some time that Sharpies are actually preferred. It's better for the machines, but this was days ago they were saying this.
Yeah.
So look. Maybe. I think that would be weird, and all you got to do is check, to make sure your ballot was counted. It will take some time, so that's going to be interesting. But man, if you think that the Maricopa County Elections Board was purposefully putting out misinformation to screw over Trump supporters on Election Day, then why wouldn't you think that for any other county? It's like just pick them. You know what I mean? Yeah. Which county, and then just say, okay, they're doing whatever. I don't see it.
It's a very emotional time right now,
Yeah,
and people are just looking for excuses. Essentially, it's like, well, this, Trump's appearing to lose Arizona because of Sharpies,
but he didn't lose yet, and he may actually win.
But that's the thing. They've called it for the Associated Press, I believe, has called Arizona for Joe Biden. But they've also, they haven't called Georgia or North Carolina for Trump.
But
which is silly.
I had a whole bunch of people on my Twitter go, Andrew, what's going to happen with this? I'm like, they're going to be counted. Who cares? Like it's, even whether they go through the machine or whatever, if they were given Sharpies, right? That's, they could just chalk it up to voter poll worker error and something, and that's it. They're not going to suddenly discount thousands of votes because of a that's not going to happen.
Of Sharpies,
You know,
Yeah.
You don't
and
think so?
that's definitely because the signatures will match and everything.
What if
And
for my mail-in-
that's the thing that these Trump lawyers would fight, but it's not even an issue.
Yeah. So what are these the lawsuits? I believe Georgia, North Carolina are being sued as well as Pennsylvania.
Carolina?
Or no, maybe not North Carolina. I'm
Michigan,
trying to-
Pennsylvania, and Georgia. are being
Michigan,
sued by
Pennsylvania,
Trump.
and Georgia.
Yep.
That's correct. Okay.
So right now in Arizona, Joe Biden has 51% to Trump's 47.6. Biden has 1.413 to Trump's 1.321 million. However, at 9 p.m., Maricopa County is going to be dumping a ton of ballots, and the Trump campaign says they're going to swing heavily for Trump. About 60% of the votes that come in should favor Trump, and they only need 57. So they think they're going to end up winning Arizona
Wow.
by Friday.
Interesting.
I think they said Friday. Now, Trump must win Pennsylvania. That's it. Now, he definitely needs to win Nevada or Arizona. He can win with either of these. So far, it's looking bad for Trump in that capacity, but this is just the media. This is AP calling it. The Associated Press is saying, based on 84% of those reporting in Arizona, Joe Biden has won. Trump is saying, isn't 84%? Look at this. Actually, well, we can't pull it up.
We
but,
can't look at this. I'm sorry.
84% expected total vote reporting. And then over in North Carolina, they haven't called it yet with 94% reporting.
Yep.
And Trump is up about 1.4 or so points.
Yeah.
And then in Georgia,
97%.
97, but Trump is only up by 0.2.
Right.
Snap.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, 0.9.
Well,
Way off.
Trump's people they're saying that once they're going their math by their equation, they think that Trump's going to do have like something like 4,000 to 8,000 extra votes in Arizona, right? But AP is like
they're saying Arizona's going to be 10 to 30,000. That's a Trump.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the AP saying, oh no, we're calling it, and
Yep.
you're like, well, the media's been completely right with all these polls and everything.
Yeah,
It takes
exactly. Of
right?
course, we should allow them to call it.
Exactly, yeah.
We should start trusting them now.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
This is
yeah.
this is the issue I'm saying. They should not have called Arizona. So
No, they should not.
I really need to be able to pull
They
this up
called
and show
Arizona
you. But
before they called Georgia.
it's really annoying that our monitor display isn't working. But anyway,
Sorry, I don't know what's
Jeff
going on.
DeFore tweeted, "The latest plot twist comes from Arizona, which had reportedly counted 95+% of its votes. New York Times notes that due to an error in an Edison Research data feed of results, the actual estimate is that 86% of the vote has been counted. This gives some credence to the Trump camp's argument in a call with reporters that it expects to pull ahead in Arizona because most of the outstanding votes is in Trump-friendly territory." I'm going to give you my prediction. My friends, this has been a historic failure of the forecasters, the pundits, and the pollsters.
Yep.
Bingo.
It was a 5-point error in 2016, which was huge because the margin of error is always like 2 to 3. Then it was 5. It was 7. And now, with 84% reporting, they're saying Joe Biden gets Arizona.
How dare they?
But in Georgia and in North Carolina, where it's 98, 97, well, that's too close.
Yeah.
In Georgia, Trump, there's some new information came in. Trump is up 0.8 in, this is Georgia, 0.8%. And that's about what looks like 38,000 to 40,000 votes. Maybe there's a good reason for that. I'm not going to pretend to be a pollster, but I'm telling you, I don't trust the media right now. And here's my fear.
No.
They called Arizona for Biden with 16% outstanding. And that means if Nevada goes to Biden, Biden declares victory.
Oh.
And then the problem is Trump can take Nevada or Arizona, because in Nevada, Trump's only down by, I think, what is this? He's down by about 7,300 or so votes.
And that's the key. He needs to win Arizona or Nevada. I don't think Nevada is going to happen. I think it's going to be close.
No,
I think,
75% reporting. Maybe.
Yeah, I'm just my gut is saying that Nevada is going to go to Biden.
Okay.
But I do think that obviously if Trump's people are right, and their math and their polling has definitely been a lot better than like their internal polling.
100%.
It's been better than
Yep.
everybody else. And
Yes.
it was just as accurate in 2016. Like, what are they doing that the media isn't doing?
Media's
right?
lying.
Yeah.
How could
They're
Trump's
putting the thumb on the
internals? How could Trump's internals be so good? You know what happened in Maine? The Real Clear Politics average for Susan Collins in the Senate gave one poll had a 12-point lead for Gideon, I think her name is.
Yeah.
and she got crushed by the double digits. So all of these polls
Wrong.
It's it's crazy. It's not, we're talking about a 7-point failure, and that's the average across the board. Some of these states, nuclear fail, like the whole company
insanity.
gone,
And
just
it's-
failure.
With these Senate races, you mentioned Gideon versus Collins, and Collins she crushed it.
Yeah.
But you also had the Jamie Harrison versus Lindsey Graham race.
Oh, double-digit
And-
victory.
Yeah. Then you had the Joni Ernst race in Iowa that was supposed to be very competitive. It didn't turn out to be. Then you had Amy McGrath versus Mitch McConnell, and they put a lot of energy and money into Amy McGrath, who lost a congressional race and then suddenly was a contender to beat Mitch McConnell. That made no sense.
Right.
I mean,
What were they?
I don't understand. But all the polling for these Senate races were wrong.
Yeah.
Like really way off.
And it's crazy because what everyone's been saying for the past several days or weeks is if they call the election wrong, this is just going to be the end for all of the pollsters. But the thing is, they could actually kind of get the election right in terms of picking the winner. Even if Joe Biden wins, they should all be out of the job just based on how wrong they were about everything. And the degree to which he would win by if he does.
I tweeted something and it looks like I can't see it now. They must have deleted it. Let me see if I can.
Man.
Yeah,
Your thing? What?
No, this person deleted the tweet.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So someone tweeted that YouTube, Facebook, and conservative news are brainwashing people, and they firmly believe that Georgia and Florida's election machines were hacked.
Oh.
And so I think about that for 2 seconds. And my response was,
Are you kidding me?
The polls were wrong in 2016, again in 2020, 4 years of unhinged Russian conspiracy nonsense. Then you go on to assert a conspiracy theory with no evidence. Yet you believe it's YouTube and conservative news. You need to ask yourself why you're wrong all the time.
Yeah.
This is important. We're having display issues, but I've got pulled up right now the presidential election. Guess what the toss-up shows? The toss-up portion on the Wall Street Journal shows strong, safe Republican. There's no lean Republican states. These are according to the polls. Florida, Iowa, Maine's second, Ohio, and Texas were considered toss-ups. They've all swung for Trump by decent margins. I mean, we've got one by almost 10 points. I think, so we got like 5, 6, 7. Those were toss-ups. Those are solid red.
Those are super
Then in the
solid.
lean Democrat portion, we have some solid Democrat, but then we have Republicans actually winning in Georgia, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania, which were considered lean Democrat. Now, my favorite is the House. Because when you look at the toss-up for the House, it's all way right. Like, it's a ton of confirmed Republican victories, and there's 2 in the toss-up that are leaning to the left, but there's like 20 or 30 in the lean right. In the lean left, it is about 50-50 Democrats winning to Republicans winning, meaning that's the toss-up bracket. My favorite part, in the safe Democrat, we have confirmed Florida, Miami-Dade victories for Republicans. Cuban Americans said F you to socialism.
Good for them.
Straight up. It's remarkable to me that I'm looking in the safe Democrat predictions on the polls, and there's actually Republican victories.
Yeah.
Yet when you look at toss-up, it's all Republican, and when you look up lean Dem, it's split. The polls are heavily skewed by almost double digits against Republicans. These people have been wrong about everything.
Yeah. So do you think this is bias from the pollsters who want to discourage Republican voters, or do you think there's some other just quirk of their modeling that results in it seeming as if Democrats are going to win when they don't?
I think, I worked in some of these offices, and it is a circle of jerks.
Indeed.
They are jerk people, and they're all sitting in a big
Jerk
circle,
people.
Yeah.
and they're talking to each other. It's like, you ever see the Simpsons episode where they say purple monkey dishwasher? Bart goes, the teachers are on strike.
Game. Yeah.
And Bart goes behind him and says, Skinner says the teachers are too, wimpy to strike. And then when it finally makes it to the teacher, she says purple monkey dishwasher, or something like that. I don't remember.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So what ends up happening is you have this like whirlwind of fake news. Someone, like, imagine all 3 of us sitting here. Imagine this is like a New York newsroom for one of these ridiculous companies. And then I'll be sitting here and I'll go, hey, I just read that Biden is doing pretty well in Florida. And then Seamus hears me and goes, Biden doing great in Florida. Then Andrew's like, wow, Biden's winning in Florida. Then I go, whoa, he's winning in Florida? Whoa, I didn't know that. Whoa, Biden to win Florida. And then you're like, Biden wins. And then it's Trump. And they're like, how did this happen?
It's not just a circle jerk. Pardon me, a circle of jerks.
Circle of jerks.
I'm sorry.
Excuse me.
I'm the one that came up with circle of jerks. I should know better. It's not just a circle of them talking to each other and phoning it in, literally, to each other. They're amplifying it. They're rolling it up each time it goes to the next person. It gets a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger, and then by the time it gets back to Seamus, it's like, oh my gosh, it's the end of the world.
Or
What's
I just ruin
happening?
everything like I usually do. And it's just the
possible.
process is perfectly competent until it gets to me.
But how?
Also, yes.
But the crazy thing is the polling companies, are they lying? Come on,
know.
man. Listen, hold on. Fool me once,
Yeah,
shame,
no, for
shame
sure.
on you. Fool me twice.
Their
Jeez.
their methodology is just
Garbage.
it's garbage.
Exactly.
Everything from oversampling Democrats, oversampling independents.
Yeah.
When I see these polls that have 32%
32%
independents, I'm like, what?
Break. Where do you find these people?
Yeah, exactly. And then when you have Pew Research, they pull from the same people. It's just like the same poll of people.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and then YouGov, that's also the same poll of people. And you sign up for YouGov. It's not like the internet calls your home and asks you if you want to participate in a YouGov poll, because it's all internet. It's no landlines and it's no cell phones. So I mean that's like just that basic methodology is why it's the icing on top of the cake. It's
We're taking over.
I don't agree.
We're taking over. That's what's happening.
What we? Who are we?
Independent media.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's also
We
fair.
are taking over because the
Yes.
mainstream
Freedom tunes election
established media.
predictions.
Listen, they have been so wrong about everything.
Yeah.
I was looking at posts on Facebook the other day while this is all going down, and look, I've said repeatedly, anybody who thinks they're going to tell you who's going to win, that's arrogance, and they're going to come to regret it, because we just don't know anymore. And you get all these people, you got like the Young Turks, Cenk Uygur saying, come watch my stream, we're going to show you. It's like, and everyone left kind of just shrugging like, I have no idea what happened.
Yeah.
We still don't. But all the polls are wrong. All their narratives are wrong. Guess who was right? Independent media.
Yeah.
For the most part, saying things like, we won't know who's going to win. I've been reading all of this. The fact that they thought the polls were going to show a Democrat blowout in a blue wave, and no.
I think I know why they're
absolutely
wrong.
not.
Yeah.
I have a little 2 cents, and then I'll let you guys continue your conversation.
Sure.
I think they're wrong because they want it to be, and I think they want it to be because good polls for people like Biden, just like good polls for Hillary, are what bring in those donations.
That's
100%.
No, it's the viewership.
It is. It's viewership
So-
and it's donations.
So look, I've done a bunch of videos over the past week where I'm like, is Trump going to win? Is Trump going to landslide? Like, here's one thing suggesting a Trump landslide. I did a video, I think it was the day before, saying wisdom of the crowd predicts Trump landslide. In the video, I go into detail about how the polls are heavily favoring Joe Biden, and USC Dornsiff argued that by asking people who they think their friends would vote for, they get a more accurate reading. And they predicted wisdom of the crowd says Donald Trump will win. And then we had DraftKings betting odds where everyone was betting on Trump to win.
Yeah.
And so that was my argument. But I always try to be very careful saying this is just one thing. And I try to clarify. When the media is inundating you with a deluge of articles saying Trump can't win, I think it's good to be like, hold on.
Yeah.
Let me give you a video saying here's why Trump can, while still telling you they're saying he can't, or he won't. They don't do that. The media knows if they put out a story saying Joe Biden, landslide victory, woo, and then they just say it's going to be a landslide. Everybody, come on, click the link and share it. Everyone does.
Well, and part of me wonders if what they're going to do is fall back on, if Joe Biden wins, if they're just going to use that to abdicate their responsibility to acknowledge that they were completely incorrect with all of their polling data. If they're going to fall back, well, like we said, he was going to win and he won.
No.
You don't think they'll do that?
I think regular people. So one of the things that I was saying maybe like a couple weeks ago is that even if Joe Biden wins, there's going to be a massive shift in how we are like there is a massive shift in how we consume information, how we find information. And now I assure you, there are going to be a ton of people who are on the left going, what happened?
Yeah.
Like, because
I hope you're right.
When I was looking at Facebook, I was seeing people saying like they were sweating, like, what's going on? Like, it was supposed to be, we thought we were going to get our landslide. They didn't get their blue wave in 2018. They did get 31 House seats, but they thought they were going to, Nancy Pelosi's like, we're going to take the Senate. It's going to be huge. And the Republicans gained in the Senate. So they did have victories that came in late. And then they thought they were finally going to get their big blue wave in 2020, and they did not. It is barely a Biden victory if we're even there yet. Trump still might win. The GOP is looking like it's going to control the Senate, and the House is moving Republican. This was a bad night for them.
Yeah. I mean, I hope your optimism is well placed about people looking at the media and about the polls and noting that they were off. Because in 2016, they were also wrong, and I get that they weren't wrong by this same margin, but for whatever reason, the same people still ended up trusting them this time around.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. I'm sure people were like, I wonder why they were wrong. And then all the pollsters said, shh, go back to sleep. It was one mistake from all of us at the same time in the same way, but go back to
same
sleep.
way.
It'll
One
be fine.
gigantic mistake.
You know what I was saying? Because I read the article from it was Politico saying that it was Robert Cahaley of Trafalgar Group giving an interview to Politico saying they did not fix the polls. They keep saying they did, but they predicted Gillum, or is it Gillum? Yeah, it was going to
Gillum.
Yeah, was going to win in Florida.
Oh, yeah.
And then he lost by 4 points. They said he was going to win. He lost by 4. It was a 4-point swing, I think.
Oof.
And DeSantis ends up winning. So they did not improve their polls. It was the same huge margin of error. And then, sure enough, I said, I think the polls are wrong. There's no way. I can believe the results right now. I can. If Biden ends up winning as it stands now, I believe it.
Yeah.
I could believe it. His Moody's Analytics in 2019, pre-COVID, said, if there is historic voter turnout, Donald Trump will lose by a very slim margin. Even with COVID, they're still going to win by, arguably, with Moody's Analytics tracking the economy, they said if the economy stays strong, then Trump wins. But if the economy falls down, Democrats are going to get a lead. Or if they get historic voter turnout. They got an economic downturn and historic voter turnout, and they're barely winning in the presidency. I can believe it. I can also believe there's impropriety, considering the Democrats are the ones who argue to change the rules, and we've seen 4 years of complete BS. But I think people need to be way more careful about this. Like these viral tweets where they're like Sharpie Gate and stuff. These are the videos the left is going to love to make a compilation of all the crazy, conservatives. Like there's a video you were mentioning, like someone's bringing a cooler into a polling place.
Yeah.
I do think poll watchers should have said, pop open that cooler real quick because we're on edge.
Right.
And so it's bad the video exists. But Occam's razor, man. It was full of ham and cheese and some Pepsis and some barbecue chips. People are working late; they're not getting sleep. Someone brought in food.
Yeah.
Possible. Yeah.
It's definitely possible. Yeah.
But who's going to win? Is Trump going to get a court victory, or what's next?
I have no clue. I really want Trump to win. I've made that pretty clear, but it's too difficult to say at this point. I like to think that I am out of the business of making predictions about anything related to Trump. In 2016, I made the decision not to try to call anything that he was involved with. And I don't know that I can break away from that here. Last night, it looked really good for him, and it's definitely still possible. He's certainly not out of this race. But
I do think the way the media has propped up certain states and is refusing to call certain states is to create this perception of a Biden victory.
Yeah.
Because I could easily, if I pull up the live election results right now, we could uncall Arizona, and then we can say, okay, I'm in the House. I'm going to switch to the president. I could uncall Arizona, and then I could call Georgia and North Carolina, and it's really just coming down to a race for Pennsylvania. So, I was raised, I make this post and I get all these lefties laughing, saying, we won, you're so dumb. And I'm like, bro, I'm telling you right now, y'all need to check your hubris.
Yeah.
Because they keep doing this and they keep getting egg on their face.
And they're the same ones that'll scream that Trump is calling the election.
Right. So the way the media has framed it is going to create this perception. So they're showing that they're plastering this thing, Biden 264, Trump, what is Trump at, 214?
Yeah.
And that's just the media calling it. Yeah. We don't know who's won Nevada, Arizona, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, or Georgia. And for that matter, have we even looked into any of these other states that may, like Trump's calling for a recount in Wisconsin. He's filing a lawsuit in Michigan to stop the counts unless they get meaningful access. To be fair, Donald Trump tweeted something like, what's the point of meaningful access? The damage has been done. And it's like, well, then walk away. Like, what are you saying? Like, what are you going to do? Are you going to go in there and look at all the polls? Like,
just going to give up and go home.
Well, they've been warning us.
They've
been warning us for months that there was going to, there was going to be some kind of impropriety.
They did tell us,
And,
yeah.
everybody was like, well, no, that's crazy. There's no such thing as widespread voter fraud. It's like, well, that's not widespread voter fraud. That's just voter fraud.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just, like little, look at the margin of when, Bush and Gore, like, look how many votes that was.
Wasn't it? What was it, like a few hundred?
It was a few hundred.
Yeah.
So, fine.
I
It's not
think-
widespread, but if it's small enough, it could make a difference. Depending. So yeah, you want to warn everybody about that, but. We're conspiracy theories. We're nuts. We're nuts to think
we're gonna
about
get
that.
banned.
I know.
We'll get banned.
We're
from
totally
everywhere.
nuts. Well,
Go ahead.
I mean, what really disturbs me is the fact that this could take quite a while for us to know,
January.
and I just don't know that this country is capable of handling that kind of psychological stress right now, given all the
it's
turmoil.
tough.
This is the far left's dream. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Complete and total uncertainty, a legal battle. They're going to have tons of opportunities with all these lawsuits to, run amok.
Yep.
So Trump's saying he wants a recount in Wisconsin. And in Wisconsin, Joe Biden's got 20,000 votes. That doesn't seem like Trump's going to be able to make up 20,000 votes with a recount. But it will draw this out for a long time. So my understanding, I could be wrong about this, but based on what I was reading from several other journalists, you can't call for a recount until the results are certified. And Wisconsin said, we're not certifying until the very last day.
Oh, wow.
Which is going to make it so that Trump has to wait until December 1st before he can actually call for a recount, which will then take another week or whatever.
Oh, my goodness.
But the Supreme Court might intervene potentially on December 14th. I have no idea, man. We're in the nightmare scenario where both Biden and Trump are declaring victory. The media, of course. So here's the point I was going to make. With the media calling Arizona, for instance, oops, it was a mistake. Edison Research gave us the wrong numbers, and now we accidentally called it early for Arizona. So what happens is you get a week where the left sees Joe Biden winning. I think we get to a point where the media says, look, at this point with Nevada, we're calling it for Joe Biden. What's Nevada, 10 votes? Is Nevada 10?
I think so.
10 electoral votes?
That sounds right.
Let me actually
I was
maybe.
going to say it's right in front of us. We can pull it up.
Yeah, I can pull it up. No, it's 6.
6, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's 6 electoral votes, which puts Biden at quite literally 270. Biden just barely gets that number. And then they say, we're calling it for Joe Biden. But then results come in from Arizona. It's not for Biden.
Terrifying.
It flips back. And then everyone starts saying, no, the media already said he
Right.
won. Joe Biden already won. Trump gets a legal victory. And then they say Trump stole the election.
Yep.
And then for the next 4 years, it's Trump stole the election.
Well, he stole 2 Supreme Court justices.
3.
Well,
So
2.
many.
Do you guys
2.
think...
Kavanaugh wasn't stolen? He's just illegitimate.
Right.
There you go.
Do you guys think Bernie can still win?
Bernie.
Do you
Bernie.
think it's possible?
Bernie
is he still in the
2024.
race?
Just
Here's
Yeah.
how.
No,
Somehow.
Joe Jorgensen.
No,
Here's
look,
how
I
Bernie can still win.
could you imagine? I would have loved to see Bernie run as an independent and be on the same debate stage as Trump
fantastic.
and Biden. That would have been
Great.
amazing. But
I would debate both of them.
Dude, yeah, if Bernie was on stage right now, if he ran as an independent, what percentage of the vote do you think he could get? How many progressives do you think would vote for him instead of Biden?
All of
Is
them.
that really? But is that like what? How large a percentage of the population is that? I'm curious.
I think it's about 15 to 16%.
better than Joe
Wow.
Jurgensen, I'll tell you that.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm not a
seriously.
Jorgensen fan.
No.
No.
No, I'm
So
not a Jorgensen fan.
about half, about 40% of the Democratic Party is, according to Gallup, is progressive. And then you have the Democratic Party is, according to Gallup, also around 29 to 30% of the country. So it looks like it may be, maybe 13 or 14%. And that makes sense because we had the Hidden Tribes research from YouGov showing that progressives made up 8%, and that was a couple of years ago, assuming, all the media and a couple of years of insanity and Black Lives Matter support and things like this. You probably will have seen many more people join the ranks of the progressives. Considering how social media has been kind of radicalizing everybody, and I don't mean that in the sense, I shouldn't say radicalizing, polarizing everybody.
That's a better way of putting it.
Yeah. It's pushing the centers to the tribes. You've got mainstream liberals who are now like, I guess I'm a progressive. I have to support these things. And they're being called liberals. They're not liberals.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if that number gets big. That's one thing I'm really concerned about if we get a Biden presidency. But if we get a GOP Senate, I think his hands will be tied.
Oh yeah. But can we make some predictions?
You can if you feel so bold. I'm not. I don't know about this we business, dude. You make all the predictions you want.
Fine. Well, all right. Well, let's. I'm not talking about who wins, right? But let's say hypothetically, because you mentioned Bernie Sanders. So let's say hypothetically that Joe Biden wins the presidency. God, please help us. But if he,
That's going in the montage.
You're done, dude.
But Bernie Sanders, there's talk of him becoming the labor secretary, the secretary of labor. Right?
Wow.
Good
Yeah.
for him.
They're talking about Elizabeth Warren as
I
the
did
secretary
see
of
that.
the Treasury. Like
Seriously?
that she is actively she's trying to get that job. And then Beto O'Rourke, you were saying
He's gonna be. They're gonna put him in a hamburglar costume, and he's gonna go around stealing guns from people.
That'll be fun.
he's gonna
Sounds
be
amazing.
the anti-gun czar.
You're gonna
right?
wake
Yeah.
up, and there's gonna be Beto in a hamburglar costume grabbing your AR and running out the door, and you're gonna be like, Beto!
I know he's gonna be skating off. on
Getting
his-
out into the sunset with his AR-15.
And then he falls because he can't really skate.
And then you're gonna
Start
have,
speaking Spanish.
And AOC could, because in this Vanity Fair interview, she's like, I don't see myself being in the House for too much longer. So maybe she's
wait,
going to
wait.
be as the secretary of
Nonsense.
social justice or
Yeah.
something.
Listen, Joe Biden offered us all True Nana Shaba Pressure and Bad
That's true.
Okay,
That's a hard
realize
The
to
Department
resist.
True Nana Shaba Pressure.
Yes.
Listen,
And if
wait. Look, I'm not trying to be morbid, but I think it's fair to say that Joe Biden's decline is upon us.
Precipitous.
And Nancy Pelosi was calling for the 25th Amendment, using the 25th Amendment to create a panel of former presidents and scholars to determine when the president is no longer fit, because the 25th gives them the right to create, to by law to create a body that would oversee this. They said it wasn't for Trump. It was for future presidents. And immediately everybody was like, it's for Biden, and we know it because they want
I remember.
Biden gets in, Kamala's the VP, and then there is a serious concern. I don't think they're planning on Joe Biden passing. I think they're just like, let's be real.
Let's
Biden
prepare.
is old.
Just in
So,
case.
that being said, dream scenario. Kamala Harris president, AOC VP.
Oh, I'm about it, dude. I would
Oh,
love that.
snap.
Dude,
Put
when
that in a montage.
Dude,
Yeah.
honestly, when I started AOC tunes, everyone told me I was crazy,
Oh my gosh, Jameis.
but she's by far the best political leader.
I knew. I saw it before everybody else.
You did. You did.
I was really the first to pick up on how amazing AOC
was. You've been a big fan of hers
She
for a
built
long
my
time.
channel, basically.
Yeah.
She did, yeah.
Thank
I
you.
mean, she did.
She kind of did.
She did.
Ironically, she did.
Yeah, honestly, I've done more videos about her than
Even
So
Joe
Biden
Biden at this
yeah,
point. At this
amazing.
point,
It's looking like any path for a victory for Trump is going to be a legal victory.
You think so?
It's going to have to go to the courts. I mean, he's suing in 3 states.
We knew this.
Yeah.
His lead in Pennsylvania is shrinking.
We knew
as
this
of
would
right
happen.
as of right now, Trump's lead is less than 200,000 in Pennsylvania.
Ooh,
Yeah,
look at that.
less. It's 100 and what I'm terrible at math. I can't do it. I'm too tired.
No, you're not.
It's 190.
It's been a long
99?
week.
94.
194.
190,
Yeah, yeah.
194,000.
194.
1 million. I'm sorry. His lead is 194,000 votes in Pennsylvania.
There you go.
just
So
pulled a
Tim,
Biden.
Yeah, I sure did.
I'm dude.
I'm
I
so
know.
tired. Also, I
know.
I'm exhausted as well.
Dude, I
Um,
barely got any sleep. And then I woke up and just got straight to work. And it's like,
Aw.
I had to wait until the very last minute for everything. It's like all these crazy reports are coming in. I'm glad it's not riots, though.
That's
Yeah,
true.
thank
yeah.
God.
That's
Anyway,
true.
listen.
I mean, that would be the icing on the cake.
Yeah, it sure would be.
88% reporting in Pennsylvania, and Trump's lead is below 200,000, and it's been a day. Trump wants to make sure that any ballots that come in after Election Day don't get counted.
That's
So
fair.
that's going to go to the courts.
Oh.
If that works, they think they might win by about 10,000 votes in Pennsylvania.
So, Tim, do you think anything sketchy is going on in Pennsylvania, or do you want to keep your YouTube channel?
Right. That's a great. What a great question. What a good
Honestly,
question.
I think there are sketchy things going on in Pennsylvania, but the problem is if the Trump campaign has been saying for a long time there was going to be impropriety in Pennsylvania, they didn't prepare anything for it. They weren't ready for this. You've got these videos of people saying like, look, a cooler's being brought in. It's like, did no one plan for it? How am I supposed to
They plan to
argue.
complain about it. They're like, we're really going to
Exactly.
complain about this if it happens. That's our
They're
strategy.
like they're sitting.
Republicans, let it happen and then complain about
I
it.
love
There
it.
you go.
They're good at
Literally the
that.
slogan.
It's great.
So I don't know what I'm supposed to say.
Yeah.
Like all these claims are coming out, and I'm like, if you had all year because you were complaining that these things are going to happen, what did you do to prepare for that impropriety? In which case, look, like I said earlier, I think Donald Trump should take it to the courts to the full extent of the law. Joe Biden should defend, litigate, take his own path to the courts to the full extent of the law. We're entering lawfare territory, and the winner is going to be the winner, and the Supreme Court might rule for Trump. It's like, look, I was a little kid when Bush v. Gore happened, but people were, I don't know if you remember the videos that came out, like they were egging the motorcade and like throwing tomatoes and stuff. Not my president. And they had to like rush through. I vaguely remember this. I could be wrong because I think I was 13.
You actually just
14.
made all of this up. There was no close race between Bush and Gore. This is like Tim's dream as a
Absolutely.
Bush
child.
landslide.
Yeah,
Everyone
Bush
cheered.
landslide.
They were giving a
Yay.
thumbs up, and then
Everyone
he was
loves
like,
Bush.
I'm going to go to war.
We're gonna go to Iraq.
Could you
We're going to go kill people.
Could you imagine if social media was such a like existed really? You
Yeah.
know, back in 2000. You know what a nightmare that would be.
Oh my goodness.
Twitter
Yeah.
and
Gosh.
Facebook like existed.
Well, man,
Awful.
look, we're here, and I am really worried. I do believe. I used to work at a homeless shelter in California. It was a network of homeless shelters, and one of the complaints we often got was that once California, notably Los Angeles, became one-party rule, they stopped governing. They didn't need
Right.
to.
Yeah.
It was like people just vote for you for no reason. It's great. So
Maxine Waters has stayed in.
yeah,
Glass of
people
water,
just
man.
go in
I
and
don't know.
go.
She's pretty good at what she does. She's pretty fantastic.
There's no
Maxine
political
Waters.
competition at all.
No.
So they just keep winning over and over again, and they don't have to do anything. And they don't
They
do anything.
Amazing.
They often say that California is 5 years ahead of the rest of the country.
5 years ahead. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that why they have medieval diseases?
Yes. Actually,
yes.
yeah.
And you best be ready because
They're
we're
coming.
5 years away.
coming.
oh,
typhoid
thank
outbreaks.
goodness. Yeah, I'm excited.
But there are a lot of things about what happens in California where they say it eventually, the policies make their way to the rest of the country.
What happens in California, unfortunately, does not stay
It
there.
does not
doesn't.
stay there.
And this is, I think we were talking about this the other day, but the role that California has played for the rest of the country, and the reason we've tolerated them is because it was just a place where all the people who vote very stupidly can sort of stay together. But unfortunately, they've begun to spread out and infect the rest of the country.
Yep.
I consider this to be a very serious problem.
It's an
They're moving to
outbreak.
other places and
Yeah.
they're turning them blue.
Yeah, because they abandon California because of how horrible it's gotten, and then they vote for the things that made
Yes.
California horrible.
Brilliant.
My point is we are dangerously close to that happening federally.
Ugh.
If the Democrats take everything, if they get the presidency, the Senate, and the House, congratulations. It's going to be a brutal battle for a while, though, because, at least we have an electoral college. But I think if they get to that point, there's no electoral college.
So I want to.
Well, you need a 2/3 majority to get rid of that. So I don't
Right.
think that would
Yeah,
actually
that's
happen.
yeah.
I don't want to insinuate that this sounds at all suspicious because I like doing YouTube. But 538 tweeted unironically that 2 more batches of Pennsylvania vote were reported. And this was at 4 p.m. today. But 538 tweeted 2 more batches of Pennsylvania vote were reported. 23,277 votes in Philadelphia, all for Biden.
All of them.
Every single one of the
All
votes.
of them,
Single
yeah.
Every single one of the votes for
Uh-huh.
Biden. And then about 5,300 votes in, I believe, Luzerne County, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, nearly 4,000 of which were for Biden. The fact that the first set, 23,277 votes, were all for Biden would be something I would consider to be suspicious if I wanted to get kicked off YouTube. I
you
would think
don't.
that's strange. I don't. So I think actually that's probably really normal.
No.
Yeah.
They'll kick me off if you say it.
So
You're
I
on
definitely think this is really suspicious if I'm being entirely honest.
I mean, maybe it's part of that amazing voter fraud organization that Biden mistakenly
said it!
said it.
He
said
did.
it.
Mistakenly?
I'm-
That's an assumption.
I don't know anymore.
Dementedly?
Dementedly.
Is that the
yeah,
word?
yeah. It slipped out.
No.
I mean, it's very possible. I'm not Nate Silver. I do not know, but I mean, maybe it's just the way he worded the tweet. Maybe it doesn't mean all of the votes.
Did you see what happened in Michigan?
But that's what he said. So
I think it was Michigan. Was it Michigan where 120,000 votes came in only for Joe Biden?
I believe
Right.
and Wisconsin. Michigan and Wisconsin both jumped up like that very quickly without Trump gaining a single vote.
That's
I do want to stress,
weird.
though, reporting errors. When
Yes.
the reporting error
Right.
in Arizona was in Trump's favor, everyone's like, oh, look at here. And then when you have this reporting, this strange anomaly, they're like, well, that must be fraud. It's like,
Fair enough.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know.
We're
It
staying
could-
on YouTube.
But it does, you know.
That's right.
When those things happen, everybody's very sensitive right now.
Yeah.
So
Right.
when you do see that,
I'm not.
you might react emotionally and think, "Wow, that there might be something to
Right.
this."
That's why I'm
you
saying
can't blame anybody for that.
they better investigate legitimate claims, the ones they can, like the Sharpie Gate thing. I think. No, what they need to do is just make sure, maybe do a recount, or I don't know if a recount is even necessary, but make sure if you're in Arizona and use a Sharpie, just check your ballot and stay vigilant. But if there are legitimate fears and concerns and claims, like right now in Michigan, they're boarding up the windows so no one can see inside
Yeah.
the poll counting
Why?
place. I'm like, okay,
Why are you doing
hold
that?
on.
For transparency.
For transparency,
Yes,
yeah, exactly.
Yes, yeah, it makes perfect sense.
But people are outside and they're like looking through the windows and filming, and then they start putting up boards so no one could see in.
oh
Yeah.
no,
That
no.
is weird.
That's a
no,
little bit
no.
weird. That's like a weird thing if you want to
We
get
need
kicked
it.
off YouTube to point out.
Listen,
Yeah.
listen. Robert Reich said, Truth and Reconciliation Commissions, right?
Yep.
Okay, well, the first thing we have to do to honor Mr. Reich's wish is to make sure that we have a full investigation of all of these so that we know for sure who won. If you're a Democrat and you're saying Joe Biden get over it, then you should welcome any and all challenge. So once and for all, finally, you can say to Trump, you lose.
You lose, Donald
in
Trump.
every possible way, in every investigation, in every attempt, in every legal battle, you
every
lost.
level.
You should want that. To have Trump be able to say, well, I
didn't. Oh no, I'm so embarrassed. I'm gonna cry and run home.
That seems like
That's what he's
something
gonna say. He's
Exactly.
gonna run to Trump Towers and go into nobody wants to be my friend anymore. And then Trump is gonna fall to his knees and scream at the sky.
I can
It's
see
gonna be a
it.
complete
I
reverse.
can see it.
He'll be part of one of those compilations with all the girls screaming.
And wouldn't it be hilarious?
You know?
No, it's that, dude. What they want is for it to be an exact reversal of trends where all the Trump supporters are screaming. So you're going to have like working class people with real jobs that are difficult, like construction workers just like screaming and crying on the side, like, oh, Trump, like as if that would ever happen. I thought it was so revealing of the psychology of the left that it was actually left leaning outlets that were posting the videos of kids who were upset and crying over it, as if we were going to watch that and be like, oh, well, now I feel bad. I shouldn't have.
Right.
I shouldn't have voted for Trump.
Shouldn't
What
have
have I
done
done?
that.
How horrible! It's
like
the optics of that are so horrible, but for whatever reason, they think that like if they cry, we'll feel bad for them. And
I think
it's
that's
really
wh-
pathetic.
that's why they think everyone's a grifter. They're
Yes,
like, why
that's so
isn't
true.
Seamus crying? He doesn't
Yeah.
really care. He's lying.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm an adult man, and
An adult,
I just
period.
don't really get that emotional one way or the
About
other.
politics, yeah, like don't get me wrong, this is really important to me. I think this race has meant a lot. It's going to change the future of our country in drastic ways. I believe that because Joe Biden has won, or if he does win, millions more unborn children will die, thousands more in the Middle East will die.
Yep.
And that's serious. I do take that very seriously. But what I take most seriously is my soul and the development of virtue and my family. And if you have stock in those kinds of things, as opposed to just being obsessed with the political process and nothing else, then you have some perspective that results in you not crying when your candidate loses an election.
Exactly.
Even if you recognize the seriousness of such a thing occurring.
Can we talk about people crying about
Yes, we can.
on the internet?
Can we cry right now?
Just can
I
we
was
do it?
kidding. I want to let it out.
Let's all cry together.
Well, I mean, that just kind of makes me think about how social media, like who do you think are the loudest voices on
What, on the-
Twitter?
on the
Is it
left,
the
or-
left or the right?
The left, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, they are. It's a fact.
Jack Dorsey's very loud.
Because we talk about how the media definitely, the media and the polling are helping to skew and the narrative and make everybody think that their candidate, that Joe Biden that there's gonna be a blue wave.
And there
right?
wasn't.
Yeah, and there wasn't. It's the same thing when, like, look, if the loudest voices got their way, like Andrew Yang would be president.
Yep.
Because the Yang Gang were like the loudest
Oh, so
people on the
annoying.
planet, with their little blue hat avatars in their names. But it's oh no, go ahead, please.
No. Well, had Trump won, the blue wave would have been liberal tears. But unfortunately, that might not be the case. He might be losing. I don't know. It's still a toss up though. We really don't know.
Well, I'd say it's a toss-up just because the media is untrustable. You can't trust them. And we need certified results before anything. In which case, the left right now is already their hubris is showing, man. and you better be careful. I'll say right now, I got no idea who wins. If Biden wins, well, best of luck to Biden and Kamala. I don't really like them very much, and I'll hold their feet to the fire if they do things I think they're going to do. And, we'll move on with our lives. We'll keep running our businesses. We'll take care of our families, and we're not going to cry about it. Yeah. Be mature,
No.
I guess.
Be an adult.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't think we're gonna. I mean, did you see earlier? Did you see the video of the Nevada Secretary of State, or there was somebody talking about their election process, and some guy came out in a shirt that said like barbecue or something, started screaming like,
No, what?
Joe Biden's a criminal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, did you see
He had
that?
a meltdown. I heard.
Yeah,
some
it
of
was
that,
pretty
yeah.
funny. Yeah, if
And
you
that's
guys
going
have
in the
seen it.
montage.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the thing. Why is it? Of course, the loudest people are also some of the craziest people too.
And
What?
Twitter,
What
Twitter,
are you talking about?
Twitter won't ban them, is a thing, right?
Well, they're on TikTok.
Well, hold on. Listen.
That's
That
true.
kinda
They're all
explains it,
15.
yeah.
I think it's going to be really interesting to not have a president for a little while. We don't. If Joe, well, I should
I
say,
mean, we don't know who the official victor is.
No.
We don't
well,
have a president elect yet.
No. I mean Joe Biden. He's not going to be a president.
That's true. He's not. Yeah.
They're going to be like the Senate.
not gonna be my
the
president.
Senate's going to walk up to him and be like, sign this bill that Green New Deal, and he's going to go, oh Jim, and he's going to just like scribble on it, and it's going to be like signing over his power of attorney to some random guy.
But how many bills do you think he's actually going to be signing with Mitch McConnell as
No, that's what I mean. None. None.
He's going to sign more executive orders than Trump ever did.
Some random guy's gonna show up to his house and be like, "I'm Hunter," and he's gonna go, "What, Hunter? Yeah, I'm Hunter. Sign this document for our Ukrainian energy business." Oh, okay. And then he signs it, and he's like signing over his bank account,
Oh
just
my
like some
God.
random guy. We're gonna have a president. Look, man, I'm not trying to be mean, but come on.
Yes, you are, Tim.
Nobody
They
who
should
voted,
delete your
listen,
channel.
Nobody who
Sorry.
voted for Biden voted for Biden. They voted against Donald Trump.
Yeah.
We're like 5 minutes away from this dump.
Yeah,
Oh,
we are.
man.
Oh yeah. We should pull it up on
You
Twitter.
better prepare
countdown.
yourselves, kids.
Yeah,
Prepare yourself for the
those
dump.
that are listening, in 5 minutes,
Oh.
we are going to get a release of votes from Arizona, which may force the these media companies to uncall Arizona, or Trump loses.
Or
This is a historic Timcast right now.
No, no.
this is
This
the
is
most
historic.
historic
Quick,
Timcast.
Seamus, say
Super
something
chat.
really crude so that historians have to hear it.
I couldn't do such a thing.
Oh,
Tim.
no, he
I have
can
too much.
never.
I have too much respect for historians.
Okay.
I love when
Oh my
I made
gosh.
we're talking about Glenn Greenwald and on The Intercept, how
That
he
is
ended up
historic.
being forced out of it, and I said it's because a bunch of foxes dressed up like chickens.
Chickens. Oh, that's
Yes.
right. We went into
That's
detail.
wonderful.
And then I was
I
just
love
like,
that.
I'm loving that there's going to be a period where they're like, let's look back at the historic moment of the 2020 election, where the Timcast IRL show was talking about foxes dressed up in chicken suits.
This will
And
be.
you're going to have to learn about that. So all the kids in the future, in like 100 years, are watching this. I did this for you.
That's
I hope you
right.
find it funny.
And by the way, they should be calling Philadelphia soon to the kids 100 years from now. Hopefully by then. Maybe like 100, 101, 102.
Oh, right,
Yeah,
right,
right.
or
30
Pennsylvania.
years.
Yeah. Give it just like
Trump's in cryogenically frozen, just waiting for the results.
His head. He's like, "Ah."
sad, very cold.
Very cold.
tube is very chilly.
But everybody's saying, well, maybe he could run if he loses. Maybe he could run in 2024. Maybe that's where
He's
this-
going to be
the-
78.
But this is where the cryogenics come in.
Fun.
Right?
Freeze himself.
Yes.
He could do it.
He could do it. He could do
He
it.
has enough money.
He goes into like a hyperbaric oxygen chamber and just like is in temporary stasis for 4 years.
He
to
just
try again.
and then Joe Biden just goes to Kroger and pulls everything out of the fridge and stands in
Listen.
it and closes the door and
Exactly.
just waits. Like, oh, wait in here, fat. Get the grab. Have what's eggnog.
I think we might see a rubber band effect from this.
Oh yeah.
The people who voted for Donald Trump in 2016 did it for a lot of reasons. We had Jack Murphy on talking about Democrat to deplorable, and trade was one of them. A lot of workers. Interestingly, it looks like if Michigan and Wisconsin are going for Biden, it's going to be a lot of white working class people that are actually helping defeat Donald Trump. But I think what's going to happen is Trump is up 5 million votes from last time. So far, it's almost 6. It's like 6 million votes. And Joe Biden is up about 6 from where Hillary was. They both made massive gains. That's the culture war was trying to get everybody out to vote. But the people who joined the ranks of Trump, people who never voted before, people like me, people like my friends, people like Johnny Rotten, these people, they're voting because they're seeing something from Democrats, something negative. But the people I see voting for Joe Biden don't know anything about him, don't know anything about Trump other than he's bad. And I had a very long conversation with a friend who couldn't tell me anything about Trump. Well, he lies all the time. And I was like, you're describing every
Isn't that the
politician.
whole thing? Yeah. Isn't that like
You're
the whole
describing
point? Is
every
he lie?
politician. And then I said, I'm pretty sure. So my friend was like, this guy I know, he said, Trump just says whatever the crowd wants to hear. And I said, I was like, I'm pretty sure when he called Rosie O'Donnell a fat pig, his goal wasn't to pander to everybody. He didn't care. And that worked for the crowd, I suppose. But the point is, if you're going to be like a first-time voter going out and voting for Biden, but you don't know the first thing about Biden's administration, the things Obama did, are you going to take responsibility for the war? Trump's the first president in 40 years that
not start a new war.
Not start a new war and drawing down our troops and historic peace agreements, and you don't know anything about that? Great. I think there might be a snapback effect because these people who are forced to be politically active to vote for Biden, listen, the people who voted for Trump this time around, many of them came from the Democrats. Many of them did. So like we have someone in the room right now, chilling, Carrie, who you voted Democrat in 2016, right?
I did. I voted for Bernie.
Yes.
But
Okay. Carrie said she voted for Bernie.
But I
So-
did not vote for Clinton.
But she did not vote for Clinton. So there's a lot of people who did vote for Clinton who are now voting for Trump. That means they got politically active because they were seeing news and they said, okay, I'm going to vote for Clinton. Orange man is bad or whatever. And now 4 years later, they voted for Trump. The people who are voting for Biden now are, for the most part, not people who are like, wow, Trump was a mistake. Some of them, yes. But it's a lot of new people because that's what we were seeing from the data. Axios was reporting that Republicans weren't registering new voters. They were mostly registering people who have left the Democratic Party or people were quitting the party to become Republican or they were leaving the party. That's what Axios reported as to why the voter registration gap was favoring Republicans. That means Joe Biden gained 6 million votes from a lot of people who don't know anything. Imagine what they're going to think in 4 years when they go through the same process as many other people who voted for Clinton or Democrat or Bernie and then switched for Trump. They're going to be like, wait a minute, what did I vote for? So I think 2024 might be a serious red wave.
And isn't it interesting how so much of the strategy for the Democrats depends upon getting people who know absolutely nothing to vote? Like every single time you see a celebrity on television telling people to vote, it's almost always somebody who's a Democrat or sympathetic to the Democrats, and you know what they're doing. It's like, yeah, maybe it's not a great idea to flood the polls with people who only voted because a celebrity told them to vote. Maybe that doesn't make our democracy better.
This is why when I tweeted my current thoughts, the media is going to call it for Biden, and then I get all these lefties being like, the media doesn't call elections. Like, do you watch?
they
You
do.
can't literally
watching
call an
the-
election on the phone and ask it to hang
Yeah,
out. Tim.
exactly.
So I had a friend who messaged me saying, like, you really think the media would wrongly call a race early or whatever? And I'm like, my friend, you seriously need to go back to 2000. And I was like, but the New York Times just issued an error saying they were wrong about the percentage of counties reported in Arizona. So it's like they literally just did it yesterday, dude.
Yeah.
But these people don't know anything. So they're like, I think healthcare is a human right. And I'm like, okay,
It's no longer scarce. Great.
let's have a conversation
yeah.
about scarcity and resources and economy. You're so dumb. Europe does it. Bro, the European Union, when it comes to COVID, is a disaster zone.
Yeah,
The
that's
amount
not
of
good.
cases and deaths are insane compared to the US. But they keep comparing individual countries. They're like, well, look at this one country. It's like, that would be like comparing, well, look at South Dakota. So South Dakota compared to the EU. Whoa, what's wrong with Europeans?
You're going to talk to me about the quality of health of people in a country that isn't literally the fattest one on the
Right.
face of the
Yeah.
planet. And they're doing better than us? Interesting.
Oh, interesting.
Wow.
But also, I've made this point before that the United States, like every state in the United States, is like its own country.
Bingo.
Right.
Yep.
So
They really are,
So
yeah.
if you compare each state to other countries, we're not doing too bad, right? You know, but when
But when you put
there's-
all the countries together,
Yeah.
now California's in the mix.
Oh,
It's like it
gosh.
brings everything down.
It's really true.
So the Wall Street Journal hasn't given us any updates on Arizona yet. It's
Okay.
still basically the same
We're
thing.
chilling.
But no, as you were saying.
Oh,
Andrew.
well, I mean, what I was saying is that since we're a constitutional republic, we can't tell states what to do in so many things, including, how to have their elections.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
how,
Or
how
how-
to conduct their elections. I couldn't think of the word conduct. I don't know.
We're all
I'm just
very
It happens.
tired.
We're all
It's just-
exhausted.
Yeah,
by
we're
the
a
way,
little
yeah.
bit tired.
So it's like
Very
if
tired.
if we can't get a state to conduct their elections like normally, how are we going to get them to wear masks? Like, I don't know how
Yeah.
Joe Biden
Is Joe Biden going to deploy National Guard to every street corner and tell people to put their masks on? Are they going to do
Ideally,
checkpoints?
yeah.
and put, them,
Ideally.
and put them in jail.
Here's what I can't
hope.
believe. I can't believe that in Michigan, they recently just issued a mandate where the restaurants have to track people's names and
Yeah.
addresses. Otherwise, it's like jail time.
Good.
And they voted for that.
Ugh.
Wait, the people there actually voted for that?
No, they voted to put this to vote. They voted Democrat. Wow. Donald Trump is the candidate of open the country up.
Yeah.
People are voting for the lockdown. Man, I tell you what's really scary is when I'm talking to my, low information lefty friends and they're saying things like, we should just print more money. They don't literally say print money because they don't understand the concept of how money is created or given out. They say the government should just pay everyone's mortgages or whatever, or they should freeze the economy. And then I have to go very slowly and do like a sort of Socratic method with, okay, who owns the building you live in? My landlord. Okay. Does he do work to make sure the building is being maintained and everything? No, I just pay him. He doesn't do anything. Does he fix things? Oh, well, he fixes things. Is he paying taxes on the property? Yes. Is he paying the like certain utilities like water and trash? Okay. Is he hiring a
Interesting.
grounds person? Okay, let's say you stop paying this person. Now, who's paying the taxes? Who's paying the utilities? If the utilities aren't getting paid, who's covering the trash? Who's covering the water? The system starts to break down. Then they say, okay, well then the government should just give everyone a stimulus check to pay for it. Do you know? And I'll ask them, okay. And then what happens with a massive influx of cash, but nothing backing that cash? Nothing was produced or
Nothing being
exchanged
produced,
for it.
yeah.
It creates massive inflation. It can destabilize economies.
Everything
Case in
stays the
point,
same.
take a look at many of these countries like Venezuela. When I went to Venezuela, we had a garbage bag full of Bolivar. It was Bolivar Fuerte, the strong Bolivar, where they hacked off 2 zeros. And then
Jeez.
you had to get a stack of cash like this big to buy like a box of crackers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny
Like an
because
orange.
in Venezuela there are people who will actually take the currency and craft it into origami art,
Yeah.
and then sell it online because they can get a better conversion doing that than just trying to convert the money.
Dude, it was so amazing when I came back from Venezuela and I had this massive stack of cash and I like put it on the table at the Vice office and I'm like, check out all this money. And they're like, whoa. And I was like, that's $10.
You're like, that's modern monetary theory.
Yeah,
Yes.
man, right there.
People are thinking you're Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
A homeless
you're-
guy.
Yeah.
You're like
Homeless Venezuelan man.
You're like, I learned how to count cards over in Venezuela. I went
I
to the
think,
casinos.
I think toilet paper would have been worth more.
Yeah.
So anyway, listen.
Well, during COVID, it was. Let me
when
tell
Exactly.
you.
I'm
Off the
talking
shelves.
to many of these lefties about this policy stuff, they say like deficit spending. And I'm like, you listen, you are eroding the foundation of your country. It doesn't work. You can't just do that. There has to be some kind of balance. We do have problems with deficit spending. We do have problems with a massive national debt, but you can't just keep doing this, devaluing your currency.
Yep.
Eventually, everyone's savings will be worth nothing. And the people who have retirements where they saved up for 50 years and are now finally old and on a budget are going to be like, I can't buy milk anymore.
Yeah.
But they don't care.
horrible.
And they talk about like, the stocks. Trump only cares about the stock market. Yeah, there's people's 401ks, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's their retirement accounts.
He cares
They
about
think
people.
it's like a Wall Street guy with a cigar going, I just made $1 billion.
Yeah, no, it's union people.
Right, it's union
Right.
pensions. And they don't get
Who are
it.
investing into their 401ks. That's the thing that Joe Biden says all the time. Like, Trump only cares about the stock market. He downplayed COVID because of the stock market. Like, no, what? No, no. He's just lie after lie after lie with this guy, and people believe it.
Yeah.
And when
Because
you're
the media is really on the guy. It's the media. It's Joe Biden can come out and say, like, if Joe Biden could say something, I don't know, Trinidad not shopping at pressure.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the media wouldn't talk about it.
Not at all.
I tell you, man, look, I just got to say this. I understand Donald Trump's got a lot of problems. And
Yeah.
he is not my vision of, look, I was thinking about something recently. And I was like, you know what I miss? I remember, I come from a poor family. And we were on the south side of Chicago. But I remember waking up Christmas morning or like the week of Christmas and we have the ornaments and you can smell the pumpkin spice and the gingerbread and then like opening presents under the Christmas tree. And I'm like, it was a good feeling back in the day. We don't like, we're losing this. And I got to admit, Donald Trump does not represent this like warmth of my personal childhood experience. But I recognize you don't always get what you want. I'm not going to argue that we need a good president with a little puppy running around or a cat named Mittens or something and a couple kids giving high fives and laughing. Oh, those silly kids. We got a great family president. We've got a guy who's in office, and I truly believe I believe Donald Trump does love America.
Yeah.
And I think he's got serious personality issues, and he needs to learn how to. He's been doing better. Maybe he'll lose because of it. I think it'll be a big reason. But the idea that just because I have this warm, fuzzy feeling that I look for in a home that's long since gone would make me vote for a man like Joe Biden, who said Truin Anana Shabada pressure and Batakath care is like a whole level of psychosis. Like, you have to be insane to be like, Trump is such a mean guy. I think we should sink the ship we're on.
Yeah. Well, you know, Tim, I totally disagree. Joe Biden does make me feel like a child on Christmas morning, and I think he should win this election so I can feel like that every single day.
He's just such a man of wisdom. I mean, you heard him earlier.
Shubin Abamada pressure.
You heard him earlier.
Truin Anana Shabada pressure.
Truin Anana Shabada pressure.
Boom!
Yes.
Truin Anana Shabada pressure. That sounds like some like hacky bit from a musical. Like,
does.
it's Truin Anana Shabada pressure.
And
It's
then
an
like
extra
starts
layer.
tap dancing.
It's like they're like
Moving.
Truin Anana Shabada pressure.
Moving shots.
What was that? I said Truin Anana Shabada pressure. What is this? Well, Truin Anana Shabada pressure is when you get that feeling inside when you're
It's
with
like
your
Christmas
best gal.
morning and you're with your
morning.
parents.
Voting for Joe Biden is to vote for a guy who can't speak properly to pilot a plane while we're all on it, because the guy who was piloting it before kept shouting expletives over the
Said
intercom.
a bad word, yeah.
And to be
I'm
fair,
sitting
he
there
was
going
doing
like,
that.
Yeah, makes sense.
I'm sitting in the plane being like, I wish this guy would stop doing this, but man, we are making great time, you know?
But- and
It's like we're
also-
gonna be there sooner than we realize.
Some
It's
of us
also-
don't mind the pilot screaming over the intercom. Every now and again, maybe he's talking smack on people who
We
haven't
think
been
it's
too nice
funny,
to us
yeah.
for several
Right.
decades.
Look, a vote for
It's
Joe
true.
Biden. A vote for Joe Biden is a vote for Batakath care.
Bad
true.
account
It's,
there. It's true.
it's
Go
a
on.
vote for just look. I was talking about when I was when I was talking about he was a man of wisdom, and I talked about this downstairs. But he goes everybody keep the faith. Like my grandfather said every time I left the house, keep the faith, Joey. And then my grandmother would say, no, Joey, spread it. So everybody keep the faith. You're like, what does that mean?
Where are we
Here's
going
the
with
thing,
this?
and I
No,
know
it's like just a man of wisdom that he is. He's just talking about record players and radios,
That's
and
true,
he's bringing us to how people say that Republicans are trying. They kind of want the nice time in the 50s. That's what Joe Biden wants too.
True, yeah, I can see that. He
Well,
lives
yeah.
in the 50s still.
It's
you might have
interesting.
noticed.
We do have an update on Arizona.
Oh,
Yes,
sure.
we do.
2 more percent. It looks like Joe Biden is now up just under 80,000. So I don't know if there's any significant movement, but it doesn't necessarily seem like it's that good for Donald Trump. So
Interesting.
we'll see.
Secrets of Arizona.
We'll see. This is Wall Street Journal says 86% expected total vote reporting. We will see.
We will see. And I just
There's
want everyone to know,
14%
I know we are really ragging on Joe Biden after the polls have already closed, and I want to encourage everyone at home. Yes, it is too late for you to vote, but it is never too late for your vote to not count.
That's
It
true.
may be
Oh, good
too
point.
late.
Thank
Listen,
you, Seamus.
my friends.
I just want you all to be encouraged by that.
Seamus, if I may. It may be too late for you to vote, but it's never too late to apologize for who you voted for. I'm kidding.
That's also
true.
true.
There you
No, it's
go.
also very
I
true.
think
because we're big Biden supporters here,
That's
and we
right,
always
as
have
we
been.
are.
the whole
always
time.
have
Indeed.
been. I was the first person to say Joe Biden should
After
win
me.
the primary.
Tim
and
showed me Joe Biden actually
You know,
for the
man,
first time.
It reminds me of that Simpsons gag. Don't blame me. I voted for
Kodos.
Kodos.
That's right.
You know, man, I'll tell you
King.
what. I think conservatives need to be very careful about making this look really ugly. Like, not that it necessarily matters, I guess. I don't think the left cares what they look like when they scream on camera and drop their knees and start crying. Like, they don't seem to care.
I think they do care. I think they think it makes them look good. I think they think we'll feel bad for them.
To
I'm
each
pretty
other.
sure they're acting most
They
of
don't-
the time.
Yeah, they don't care about what we think. They
Oh,
care
that's
about
fair.
what and I think for conservatives, they're probably more concerned with winning, so they're going to say what they have to say to win.
Maybe
Let me tell you, I'm not tired of winning.
Maybe we should prove the left right and take advantage of those boarded up stores in Washington and try and
It's true.
just
Cause
prove
trouble.
them right.
Oh, you're saying
you know,
Cause
just prove
trouble?
them right.
Oh, you're saying
you know?
you're trying to insinuate
Are you
that
calling for civil unrest?
Yeah.
That's what I'm hearing. Don't do that.
You know, they're saying that's what we're gonna do. So,
I feel
might as
like-
well.
I think too
Maybe
many.
we
I
should, yeah.
think too many of us have jobs, and like I get that's coming from a cartoonist. But I think too many
Give me a
people who
break.
voted for Trump
That's
have
not
jobs to go out and riot.
that is true.
Yeah, no. Look,
Yeah.
Like they've got
Republicans
somewhere to
are
be
not-
tomorrow.
Yeah,
They're so
yeah.
busy.
We have jobs. We can't.
Yeah, dude.
We can't go.
All right,
out
you're
and
also
riot.
we're all
That's
YouTubers,
crazy.
so none of us can really talk about the job.
Yeah,
thing,
we can't. That's true.
I
Hey.
think it's looking like here. I'll give you my gut feeling right now. Joe Biden's going to win. Trump's going to go to the courts, and he may end up losing, and it's going to look really ugly.
I wonder what-
really ugly.
I wonder what Project Veritas
That's
is going
true.
to tell us. When are they dropping all this information?
I don't know. What do they know? My thing is kind of like, look, man, I have no idea what's going to happen. This could be a Bush v. Gore situation, and I think, like I said earlier, these people who are claiming we won, I won, I know who's going to win. You need to chill. People, like, I don't know what you do in a situation like this, because I know if Biden ends up winning, like, I got people yelling in the chat like fraud here, fraud there. We got videos, we got Veritas. They're not going to accept it. So what do? I mean, the Democrats didn't accept 2016.
No.
If the right doesn't accept this, or if Trump wins, they won't accept. If Trump ends up winning somehow, like, and I mean somehow, like there is a path for Trump to win. It's not over. They're gonna if I would say burn it down, but it's an understatement.
Well,
they're gonna like start nuclear fission in like with the buildings. It's gonna be a remarkable feat of science.
And it is possible that the Republicans would not accept the result of the election if Trump loses. It is a guarantee that the Democrats will not accept the results if Joe Biden loses. They won't, because
Yeah.
they didn't last time.
Yeah.
Of course.
Well, worst case scenario is that Biden wins, Harris wins, whatever.
Yeah.
I see.
We
the
get a
chat.
Harris
I see the
presidency.
chat, guys. The chat's going crazy.
Harris wins.
But let's say that Biden wins. It's like Greg Gutfeld earlier today said that he would be the first, the first term lame duck president.
Yeah, that was great.
Right.
Yep.
And he's right because first of all he's not going to be able to campaign for a second term.
Right.
It's not happening.
Oh no,
He
there's
couldn't campaign
no
for a
way.
first
I
term.
He could
know.
barely campaign for a first term.
Well, that was because of COVID. By then, we'll have
No.
a good vaccine. You guys are being too hard on Joe.
Sleepy
Sleepy Joe needed to put a lid on it, and
He's going to be entering with a Republican Senate. It looks like.
Yeah.
And so nothing's gonna. It's. I mean, that's not bad. Like
he's going to be
it's-
under a lot of
I'll tell you what.
pressure.
But
Indeed.
the conventional wisdom is that he's going to drop out like sometime in his first term, right? And so then nobody's going to rally behind Kamala Harris.
The first technically female president.
So
I mean,
The
the
first
first female.
technically female president. What does that mean? What does that
Cancel.
mean?
Let
Tim?
me rephrase.
Please try that again.
The
That will be
first
clipped.
female technically
I'll clip it
president.
myself. That's
Because she's not
amazing.
getting elected.
Not getting
Technically
elected.
female.
Technically female.
Oh my god.
Oh man,
That's going in the montage.
Wouldn't
Yeah.
it be really funny if wouldn't it be really funny if Joe Biden stepped down right now as he's at 264 and then just Kamala had to finish the race for him?
No, it wouldn't. He would lose.
Yeah, he would totally lose.
What?
If he he would concede. He has to get elected and
then
inaugurated,
step down?
and then he can hand
Dude,
over.
he's just waiting for the results to be in so he can take a nap. He's like,
I'm
look, this
right.
has to be over so I can
Seriously.
just stop doing
how
this.
amazing would it
Forgot
be
to
if he's
the
like
meeting.
standing in at the where do they do it at the White House where the inauguration happens or whatever,
Technically.
and then they're like raise your hand, and then they say I solemnly swear I'll uphold the Constitution, and then he finishes and goes, are we done? And they're like, yeah, and he goes, all right, I resign, and then he just walks off, and Kamala walks up and she goes, me,
Oh, me.
and then she walks up and she puts her
Technically
hands up, and then
no, I think they're gonna, I think
She's
they're gonna-
already waiting.
I think the
She's
media
already waiting.
The media is going to pull an FDR, right?
Oh.
FDR was in a wheelchair with polio,
and they lied about it.
right? And they might do the same thing with Biden. They might go, well, Biden said today, from the Oval Office, we didn't have cameras or anything, but he said it. You have to take our word
Right,
for
right.
it, right? Or the press secretary comes out and says,
They've
the
already been
president-
doing this, dude. Joe Biden, no, it's true. Joe Biden will say something like, in Scranton, when I was talking to the union guys, and we gotta fix the economy. The quote from the media will say, when I was in Scranton with the union guys, we said we got to fix the economy. And they cut out the whole
Yes.
part. That was like that last 10 seconds.
And if when they believe, like you will notice this when you read articles about people, they leave that stuff in all the time. Like whether or not they clean that
And
up
they'll
is
put
about
sick.
whether or not they like you. Yeah.
SIC. Yep.
the
sick.
media,
Sick, nasty,
the
bro.
media is acting like a translator for Joe Biden's failing
It
brain.
is.
Yeah,
Okay.
honestly.
Guys, I want to ask you.
Conservatives have done this too.
I want to ask the chat, guys in the chat.
Okay.
Who do you think will be if a Republican president? Who do you think the Republican nominee will be in 2024? How about that? How about you guys? What do you think? Because
I'm hoping-
Biden's not going to get a second term, right? So if the Republicans run somebody normal, not crazy, who do you think? Who do you guys think?
I don't know, honestly.
Crenshaw?
I don't know. I was thinking Crenshaw.
Yeah.
Crenshaw. Dan Crenshaw.
Yeah,
I'm
You don't think so?
really hoping.
he's not presidential.
You don't think so?
No,
Vice presidential?
Why not?
I don't know.
I think he's great.
I could see vice presidential. Sure.
I think he's
Yeah.
presidential, man.
I think he is, yeah.
Yeah, I
think
do.
so.
He's got the X factor.
He does.
He does have that X factor.
He does. He's
Dude,
cool.
he's like he's a veteran.
He's
He's
freaking
calm,
cool.
collected. Yeah,
Cool
he's
dude.
he like when he does. I think I'm not saying it's a guarantee. I'm just saying, at the top of my head, I would agree. Yeah, Crenshaw.
Yeah, that's who I
I'm
was
seeing
thinking.
Alex Jones and Tucker Carlson.
Here's what I think.
Yes, posters.
If the chat's response a week ago to the Jeb Bush guacamole bowls is any indicator of what the GOP wants, I'm hoping for Jeb.
Jeb.
But I'm hoping for Jeb, but I will take Mitt Romney. I'll be perfectly
Oh
happy.
my gosh.
Jeb!
Seamus,
Exclamation
get
point.
out.
With the upside down
clap.
exclamation point first.
Oh yeah, because
Yeah.
it's Spanish.
Did he
Jeb's
do that?
Yeah, he
guacamole.
did on his guacamole
Oh
bowl.
my
It was
gosh,
really great.
That's amazing.
Which really
seeing-
isn't it funny that like Trump made gains with Hispanic voters? Come on, do you think Jeb would have?
You know what?
He's
You know what?
totally pandering.
You know what I like about Dan
Please
Crenshaw?
clap.
Yeah.
You know what I like about Crenshaw is that he was giving a speech and then someone called him a Nazi, and his response was just like,
No.
really, no, it was really like, you really, man, like
on.
for real, you're gonna
Do
say
better.
that? It wasn't this bombastic, over the top. It was just kind of
Right.
like disappointment.
Yeah.
And
But
He's
that's
not
also
angry.
because
Yeah.
that's also because
Disappointed.
Dan Crenshaw and the person who called him a Nazi both know who would win in a fist fight.
Yep.
And so there was not like a need on anyone's part to
Yep.
escalate
There's-
tensions and
there's
be
this-
macho. It was
there's-
just like
Oh.
Dan Crenshaw.
There's this really funny tweet where some guy, I don't know who these guys are, but some guy tweets at like an MMA guy, and he goes, stick to commentary because like, or he said, stick to the fighting because you're no good at commentary. And the guy responds, why don't you say it to my face? And he goes, no way, you'd kick my ass. And then the guy
love it.
responds, fair enough.
So
he said, that's
funny.
why I said it to you on Twitter.
Yeah, duh.
Yeah. So what does the
That's
chat
really
say?
funny.
I saw Candace Owens.
Ugh. Elise Stefanik.
Candace
I
Owens
saw-
for
Elise
2024.
Stefanik.
Yeah, I do
I saw
like her,
Trey
yeah.
Gowdy. I
No.
disagree with that.
No,
Yeah.
he's not
I like
presidential.
him, but I don't think he would win an
Rand
election.
Paul. Come on,
No.
guys.
Rand
Stop.
Paul.
It's-
No, Rand.
No.
Rand is one of my
charisma.
favorite, one
I
of
do
the
like
only
Rand.
politicians I actually respect.
But
I
come
don't,
on,
I don't
he
see
not
lacks
pre- he's
the
not
X
presidential.
factor.
vice presidential, maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
You
Yeah.
guys are just
Oh,
wrong.
I saw Tim Scott, which
Tim
I,
Scott
yes.
would be good.
I like
yeah.
Tim Scott.
I do like Tim Scott.
and I saw Ron DeSantis.
Tim
saw
Scott's a
Ron
good
DeSantis
one.
Too. Yeah,
Yeah,
is
he's
good,
presidential.
He
Guys,
is.
we're already picking 2024 nominee. Well, actually, I guess if Trump wins,
We're
we
looking
would still
forward.
We
pick
have to
somebody else.
anyway.
We're
We
I don't
might
know.
as well.
Why are you
We're
guys
getting
just
ready.
saying- I don't
I
know.
know you're not
Maybe
about
Trump can get a
predictions.
third.
Wait,
I know,
wait.
but maybe Trump could get a third term if he
Why-
wins tonight. We don't.
Why don't we? Yeah.
Josh Hawley.
Why don't we pick the Democrat? Who's
Oh,
going
yeah,
to be the
okay,
Democrat?
okay. Who's gonna be?
Oh, for sure. Well, Kamala,
Ocasio-Cortez.
right? She's going to run again. Well,
Kamala's
Kamala
gonna
would
run
run
again. Oh, yeah.
again
Kamala
because
Cortez.
Joe
Yeah,
yeah,
Biden's
yeah.
going to be president. Joe Biden will be president, and then Kamala. So if Joe wins and Kamala becomes president, then she'll run for re-election.
Nikki Haley, I'm seeing.
Nikki Haley's a good one. Yeah.
She's a
Uh,
warhawk.
Yeah. Kamala Cortez.
Kamala Cortez.
I'm sorry.
Kamala Cortez.
I like
There's
that.
no way. Kamala
No.
would
Stop.
pick Alexandria.
It's Harris Ocasio Cortez would be the ticket. Sorry.
Do you
Oh,
really
interesting.
think? Do you really think Harris
Oh, I
would
thought you
ever
were saying
pick
Steve
AOC?
Cortez.
No.
No.
Because I sure
No.
hope
No,
so.
no, no, no.
I
I
sure
would-
hope so.
hope
Frankly,
so.
My prediction is Cory Booker.
really.
No.
She would pick-
Spartacus.
Yeah, I don't think. Why Cory Booker?
Because they're friends.
Yeah.
And
Oh, I didn't realize.
they're friends. He's a senator.
Yep, that's true.
I
they're
think
buds.
she'll pick Hillary. I'm kidding.
Well, if she
Oh
wants
my
to win,
gosh.
that's the move because Hillary did win the popular vote
That's true.
last
She did.
time.
She did.
So, if you want to strategize,
Kayleigh McEnany for president.
Oh yeah.
She's too young, isn't she?
I think she's about your age, Tim. I don't
How old
think
is
she's
she?
too young.
Tim, why
She's
don't you
32.
run?
Well, by
I will
2024.
never.
You could run.
Timothy
You do a
would
good job.
never.
You get good
Yes,
views
I
on
will
the
run into the
podcast.
woods and no one will ever see me again.
It's kind of what you did, buddy.
Hightail it into
I
the
know.
woods. Literally what he did.
I don't know why people. She's 32.
Oh yeah, she's a little young.
Is that like it's like a weird joke that people are like, Tim should run. I'm like, why? I never. I'd be sitting there and be like, I have no idea how to help you.
Because here, I'll
And then
tell you
people
why.
thought they'd be like, he's honest.
Do you
He's
want to
better
know
than
why?
the
Well,
politicians.
I get that too.
They're like, neither do the other guys. They're lying about it. Tim acknowledges he doesn't know what he's doing.
That's
Couldn't
true.
help me.
First of all, I'm very presidential.
Indeed,
Clearly.
yes, Andrew should do
the,
it.
The shirts, everything,
It's
right?
true.
I make fun of Andrew Yang for not wearing a tie, but I'm talking politics and Nintendo shirts. But
You've got my vote.
That's right.
you got the Gamergate vote, bro.
Oh gosh.
2014.
of course, look, I get people saying you should run for president, which is, if whether it's a joke or
Usually
fine.
a joke,
But people do say you should run for Congress. And
Yeah.
I'm like, no. Like,
Like
why
local
would I do
politics.
that?
Yeah.
I think
That-
I
you
think
know-
the best legislators are either lawyers or economists, right?
I think
I
you're
think
right.
they're all
I would
narcissists.
definitely agree with economists.
What an
Definitely. Some
awful
lawyers, yeah.
job.
I know.
An awful job.
And that's why people are always
Dude,
telling me they're like, you should run for office, Seamus.
because
You'd
it's a
be great."
horrible job.
You'd be the best.
Listen. I've done,
But I won't.
I've done fundraising for these companies. I know what it takes to like sell things to people, and that is just something any sane, rational person would not want to do. It's very difficult. There are very few politicians we have in office who get through without becoming these like tribalist, just rage monsters, constantly just talking about how stupid and bad their opponent is. And it's like, the problem is if you run a campaign where you're like playing with kid gloves, you're being nice, you lose. You're gonna lose because people like drama. It's why reality TV does so well. It's why vlogs on YouTube do so well. They want you to like. Here's the Gen Z, like, in 10 years, we're going to have some Gen Z running for office and they're going to have their phone, or I guess at that point, they're going to have their Neuralink or whatever. And they're going to be doing like a selfie video where they're like, yo, my opponent's so dumb. Like, I went to the club and he took my drink and I was like, yo, that was my drink. And, dude, you can't vote for him. You got to vote for me.
Yeah.
It's breaking down into that. And I mean this with the utmost disrespect for the current wave of these young congressional politicians who we had. I'm going to give a special shout out to two people with disrespect. We had who's the dude who just won? He's 25.
Oh,
Madison
sorry.
Cawthorn. Is that his
Madison
name?
Cawthorn.
And
There
he
we
said
go.
he
Thank
tweeted
you.
he won and then tweeted "Cry more libs." I think.
Did he?
Did he?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
I don't know exactly
know about
why,
him.
but I tweeted. I was like, I absolutely have no respect for this or something.
That's
And
weird.
then you've got AOC. It's like, dude, I don't want politicians. And the same criticism goes for Trump. This is one of the things I think might actually cost him the election. Instead of just being like, listen, I understand I won. I didn't win the popular vote, but trust me, I will be there for you. Please speak with me and we will do everything in our power to make sure we lead this country in the right direction. Trump's divisive. When he talks about the left and the socialists and stuff. I'm not saying his criticisms are wrong. I'm saying that there's a degree of like trying to stop a polarized breakdown in this country. So you got AOC, who is just playing the social media game, the Instagram, and like sassing back at Republicans.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is this?
It works for her, though.
Yeah, it
That's
gets
the
her
thing.
10 million
It-
followers and she gets elected. Great.
Yeah.
Now, can we get some politicians or some
Do something.
statespeople, be politically correct in here, stateswomen and statesmen,
Technically female.
to actually try and help us improve our lives?
Yeah.
I believe there are very, very few people. I do not believe AOC is one of them. We'll see how Madison does. I'm not trying to rag on him too much, but that one tweet, I'm like,
That's
it's
irritating.
not
I
fan.
don't like
that's
that.
not helpful.
No.
Well, this is
No.
the thing. I mean, ideally, you would want a leader to be empathetic and a person who can place themselves in someone else's shoes and really think out over solutions that would help other people. But the electoral process is sort of set up to pick the best sociopath. Like, who's going to be the best at lying to the people about what their actual goals are, and who's going to be able to push anyone else aside so that they can win.
Yep.
It does seem to benefit you. I mean, when you let's look at like Donald Trump versus Bernie Sanders, for example. Bernie Sanders sort of lacked this fight, which was necessary. He would talk about the other politicians on stage with him during the Democratic primaries as if they were his friends, and he would even refer to them as his friends, even after they would tell horrible lies about him. And these are people who he was claiming were destroying the country and hurting the working class and making your family's life more difficult. Trump didn't play that game. If Trump didn't like you, you knew Trump didn't like you, and so did the American people. And I think that's actually really important if you want the American people to trust you and if you want to get elected, because you're clear about who your friends and enemies are.
Don't play
I can understand the appeal appeal from Trump and calling out the machine and all that stuff, but he needs to be more careful when he calls out the people.
Oh, for sure. Well, and this is one thing I've noticed about Trump, though. When he's insulting, most of the time he's insulting people who are far above the rest of us in
Right.
terms of status.
Right.
He's going after the media. He's going
He's
after
not
the
punching
establishment. He's
down.
going after the DNC. Yeah. I can't think of a single statement, and I'm sure you could find something here or there, but in my memory, I can't find a single statement of him just like trashing regular voters. Now, part of that could be that it doesn't really bother the media when he trashes regular voters. It bothers the media when he trashes the media, and so that's what we always hear about.
So the issue is when he says the radical left and he goes after them.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what. Listen. It's a very, very difficult challenge, problem to navigate because there is a radical left wing and rioters, but there are a lot of people who identify with them. So how do you talk to these people in a way that doesn't alienate them or make them feel like they're an other when they may not identify with Antifa in the sense that they go around smashing things, but they also don't know Antifa is doing this. They think the far right is going on. They think it's the poor boys.
The poor boys.
The poor boys.
The poor boys are going around and rigging the election.
It's not necessarily just Trump's fault, right? I want to be clear. It's just this division itself is eating everything up.
But there is divisiveness from like say Joe Biden.
Oh, for sure.
Of course.
I mean,
he's way more divisive.
Well,
Agreed. He calls Trump supporters ugly.
Ugly chumps.
I'm
But
gorgeous.
It's very inaccurate.
Well, when the guy was murdered in Portland, he goes, "Oh, that Trump guy."
Yeah.
Right. Not an American.
Can you
Not a
imagine?
human
Not a
I'm
victim,
not-
but
imagine.
that Trump guy, and you're like, you're kidding me. Or when there was Greenpeace. There were Greenpeace or Green New Deal people that were at one of his rallies, and they started shouting, and he's like, "Oh, the Trumpers are here," and they weren't
Chumps.
Trumpers.
Well, this is funny.
They weren't
I
Trumpers
can't-
at all. They were like
I'm not
Green New Deal
trying
people.
to just single out Trump. I'm just trying to say
Yes, you
that
are,
that-
Tim, because you
Yes.
love Biden.
No, but
you
I love
admitted at the
Biden.
beginning of this podcast you were a Joe Biden supporter.
I love
The
Joe
the
Biden.
politics are divisive by design.
Yes.
What
really.
I'm saying is when we look at like the Pew Research showing that the polarization has got really bad and the left has moved very far left, we need to figure out how to navigate that. And the reason I bring this up is not specifically about Trump's behavior or Biden's. It's that we're getting into a generation of politicians who are playing the social media game of getting likes and having drama because people are going to get elected by getting the most hearts on Instagram. They're not going to get elected by standing up at a community meeting and saying, we need more resources for this town from this industry because it's going to help people do this. And I'm going to clean up the water. They're going to be like, yo, did you see how dumb that person was? High five me. They're so dumb. Now vote for me. That's what it's turning into. That's whack. I got a big update, though.
Oh, boy.
We've got breaking news from Veritas.
Oh, yeah, we do.
Trump won California.
Oh, that's
It
why
was rigged.
Veritas is going
Trump
crazy.
did not win California. This is
So
fake
James
news.
O'Keefe has published a video
Our
breaking
friend.
Michigan USPS whistleblower details directive from superiors, backdate late mail-in ballots as received November 3rd, so they are accepted.
What?
Separate them from standard letter mail so they can hand stamp them with yesterday's date and put them through.
What?
I think this
What
stuff.
state? What state was that?
Michigan. I think this stuff should be investigated. That's about it. Investigate it. If it's true, we should take it seriously and we should make sure we get to the bottom of it. I think we want to make sure whatever this election ends up being for whoever it ends, we want to make sure it's clean, right?
Yeah.
I think Democrats and Republicans alike will agree. We want the victory to be signed, stamped, I's dotted, T's crossed. Okay. If someone's saying, here's a guy coming out saying this, we look into it. Because I think every Democrat should accept, okay, we're going to debunk all your claims if they're lies, and we're going to prove we won. They should want to do that, and they should be prepared for this. If they come out and say, we refuse because we don't have to because they're stupid lies anyway,
It's a conspiracy theory.
then I'm going to be like,
Debunked.
okay, then
That's on
you're scared.
videotape.
Yeah.
You're scared.
That doesn't matter. So many things have been on tape that they denied, though, right? Remember when Planned Parenthood was investigated
away
and
with it.
there was hidden camera footage of fetal tissue being sold, or a deal where employees of Planned Parenthood were selling fetal tissue, and the way the media responded is they kept referring to it as highly edited footage, even though the full
You could see
clip
it.
was available
You could see the whole
online without
thing.
any edits, which is not something you do when you're deceptively editing footage. But all they had to do is repeat edited, deceptive over and over again without any evidence, and that was enough to get a lot of people to believe them.
Yep.
You gonna believe your lying eyes, or you gonna believe the media?
My friends, we have way too many super chats.
There's so many.
We have
There's
so
no
many.
such thing as too many super chats, Tim.
They're all great. My friends, if you're watching,
read them all.
please smash that like button.
He said too many super chats, guys. Don't send any more.
No, shut up, Seamus. Seamus, you're so bad for us.
No.
Hit that like button if you haven't already.
Listen to Tim, not
We're-
Seamus.
Send more super chats. I'm JKing. Hashtag JK.
Smash that like button. We're going to get into super chats and start reading your comments. There's a lot of people talking about different
We had a lot of people today.
different fraud. We had a lot of people watching. We still have a lot of people. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Smashing the like button helps greatly. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel because we do the show Monday through Friday live at 8 p.m. And we are going to be in the next, the election quarter. It's not election day or week or month. It's the election quarter. It's until January.
It
when
is
we
called
know.
Yeah, we're
election
gonna know in
year.
quite a few months.
Yes. So let's read some super chats. Isaac Solsona says, I would rather Trump lose and the GOP take control of Senate again and grow in the House as opposed to Biden winning and Dems sweeping both. Not the outcome I think many want. LOL. I got to say, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. There's a good. If Biden wins and the Republicans keep the Senate, I'll actually be kind of satisfied. Like I would prefer if the Republicans came in and they cleaned up 230 and then Trump completed withdrawal and did these things. But if Biden ends up winning and he's constrained by a Republican Senate, it might kind of simmer things down a little bit. So it's kind of an everyone shrugs moment.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah, that's not the worst thing in the world.
Well,
I mean, it would be
Let-
better. Obviously, and we all agree it would be better if Trump won. But yeah,
Right.
if the checks and balances are there, it would not be as horrible as if the Democrats had control.
Everybody
of everything.
can shrug and then be like, civil confusion?
Yeah.
Civil
So-
confusion.
Let's
yeah.
just hope that
That's optimistic.
that everybody in the Supreme Court stays healthy and
Yeah.
decides not to retire, especially Chief Justice Roberts. You don't
Yeah.
want to have Kamala Harris nominate a new Chief Justice to the
No.
Supreme Court. That's bad.
I'm not-
worst
I'm-
case scenario stuff. No, that's bad. That's bad.
But it's already a 6-3. Well, Roberts, we'll call it a 5-4
Yeah,
conservative majority.
Well,
Seriously.
yeah, but it could be a lot worse. But Isaac, was it that the person's
Yes.
name? Yeah, Isaac. I agree with you that it could be a lot worse. And let's hope that in 2022 we can build on that. The Republican. We can get more Republicans, and I'm so tired. This has been it feels like it's been a week.
I know, it really does.
You know,
Time
but
slows
but
down.
Isaac is you're right on the money. So thank you for that super chat.
Yeah, correct. Tim's looking something
someone
up.
told me to go check out the Michigan Secretary of State for the results because it's showing something way more favorable for Donald Trump.
Oh, let's
I'm
take
not.
a peeperino.
I'm not gonna.
I thought
I'm
you
not
forgot
gonna be
his
able to.
name and you were going to say George.
I'm not going to be able to pull this up because
We don't
I
want-
can't just go to the site and pull
Yeah.
up the results. So
Oh,
we'll have to look into it.
We're
So
not
I don't know.
Fox News.
Yeah,
We're not trying to
I
get
can
4
look.
more years.
phone
I'll
or
look.
something.
Let me see what I
Yeah.
can find.
So Alan Jones says, alert, alert, I'm registered AZ voter who voted in person. I was mandated to use a felt tip marker. I say that because it was not Sharpie. And I checked my vote online as you suggested. It's not posted. Anyone else? I'm hearing that it might take 2 weeks before you know if your vote was actually counted.
That's true.
Oh yeah.
This is going to be nuts. It's not going to be over for a long time. I think Trump could win in the courts. I really do. And I think there's probably some foul play, but it doesn't matter what I think. The votes are in, okay? Let's just take any accusation seriously to the best of our abilities.
And let's learn from our lessons. Learn from
Learn
these
from
terrible,
mistakes.
terrible
Yeah,
lessons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
James K says, I'm from Nevada, so I've been tracking all night. Last night, he was down 30,000 votes. Now he's only down 7,000. I did the math. He only needs 51% of the remaining vote, and he is trending upward. But Trump needs Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is the keystone state.
Yes.
Lee says, the physical ballot for Maricopa County in Arizona says explicitly, do not use a Sharpie as it may bleed through. A friend of mine lives in Maricopa County and can verify this. They gave her a Sharpie to use, and it bled through. So a Maricopa County official said in a statement before the election to a local news outlet, this is fine. It won't affect your vote. Perhaps they're wrong. That's possible. But I think if you've got dirty election officials, we got a very serious accusation, in which case, like I said, investigate any of these claims. We should make sure this election is done right and thorough because people are ready to explode. So
Sharpie Gate.
Sharpie Gate. Yeah. All right, let's see. Bodes well says, comrades, voter fraud is legit. The end justifies the means. We must defeat racism. I mean fascism. Well, you know what I mean. Communist greetings. AOC, Biden, Cam, Stalin, Lenin, Trotsky, useful idiot X. Wonderful, wonderful,
Wonderful indeed.
Synodon says, love plus solidarity to Lydia. Wishing you the best with MS.
Thank you.
Cheers to a long, good life. May your eyes see many beautiful things along
Thank
the
you.
way.
I appreciate that.
Very nice.
Jake Bushnell says, the reason why pollsters would skew who is favored to win is it is known that some percentage of people will always simply vote for who they think will win.
Yep.
They want to be on the winning side. It only takes a few percentage points to win. This is a fact. This
That
is
makes
true.
sense.
Absolutely true.
Can I comment on this? I did a video where one of the pollsters at CNN, Harry Enton, he basically said, well, in the polling data, it says that people who like Biden, that 96% of people who are voting for Biden trust him on the coronavirus. And they didn't say this a
Really?
similar thing about Trump. They didn't
Right.
go, people who like Trump trust him this much on coronavirus. Like, they didn't say that. So it's all about spinning the data to
To get the
confirm your
outcome you want.
narrative.
Yeah,
exactly.
and,
100%.
You know, and so you're absolutely right. Where you see this poll, you see the poll bullet points, and you say, oh well, Americans, you don't even think Democrats. He's like, oh well, everybody trusts Biden more on the coronavirus than Trump, so maybe. I don't know why, and I don't understand why. I don't understand why people trust Biden more on that. I don't get
It's
it.
because they didn't really have to see Biden respond to it.
They did not. Yeah, I think you're right.
I mean, Trump actually took the test. His feet were held to the fire, and there were some imperfections, but we have absolutely no idea how Biden would react. If anything, we kind of know that he would have dropped the ball.
There wouldn't have been a travel ban. He would have listened to Fauci and all these people
Yes.
Jerome Adams, Surgeon General Jerome Adams, about the masks. And then suddenly, oh well, we want to use masks. Masks are bad. Masks are dangerous. To everybody needs to wear a face covering. So it would have been the same thing.
Yeah.
Janet says, the video with the cooler was filmed by a lawyer. She was on Crowder with Crowder's lawyer. There's much more to that. Sorry.
Interesting.
Well, that's why I'm saying, like, I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, you're all crazy. No.
Right.
No.
Look into it.
We don't want people leaving this election going, this was never proven, this was never investigated.
Right.
Because we need to make sure the American people trust the system. I think it's fair that everyone should agree that if you're in the right, you're in the right. Do the investigations. Trump's already suing. Great. We got a couple months before anyone solves what's going on. Let's take some time to look into it. How
Do
about
not
that?
jump to conclusions. It is not helpful.
yeah, true.
Yeah.
Correct. Fair.
Fair enough.
Let's see. Dom D says, holy 95K pair of eyes in you guys. You guys are changing things. PA voter here. Took me only 40 minutes to vote, and 5 people were trying to figure out why they got mail-in ballots and weren't allowed to vote in person. Troutman was there saying how they won't lose at all. Interesting. Let's see. Paul Van Dinther says, Mr. Trump, it's time to go Galt. Interesting. 404 says, the election is a fraud. 130K votes for Biden after Michigan stops counting last night with 0 votes for Trump. Perhaps should be looked into, but it could just be the New York Times. I think it was the New York Times who did this. Who trusts them?
Yeah.
Not me. One of the big issues with like whenever conspiracies pop up, and I'm not referring to this election as a conspiracy. I'm saying like the 9/11 stuff. There are a lot of people who are like, on this day, the news reported this. Then how come a week later they reported this? And I'm like, because the news is terrible at what they do and they get things wrong all the
Constantly.
time.
We don't need a conspiracy to explain that.
Yeah, I know. It's like, how can
pretty
you,
much
how
par
can you
for
say
the
the
course.
media is garbage and lying and then be like, but on this day they said this? Yeah, they just blurred
They're
it out,
dumb.
whatever. They're dumb. Yeah, they're bad at what they do.
Yes.
Let's see. Conservateer says, Timcast and Seamus, check your Twitter for election fraud info from John Doyle and others. This is breaking news.
Yeah, why aren't you helping?
Hashtag check.
Send me too.
Send,
Don't walk
yeah,
run.
send Andrew stuff.
Don't walk run on Twitter.
That's right. Don't
but
walk
I'm not
run.
wearing my glasses, so I can't see it. But send it to me anyway.
Yeah, I'll. Yeah,
lot of-
I pulled it up. Yeah, it's from John Doyle. He's saying help fight the
Who is he?
fight the fraud thread. He's a commentator. I would
Yeah, he's a
definitely check his stuff
libertarian
out.
dude,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's
Yeah.
like pretty conservative libertarian.
Yeah,
I
he's
would
been
definitely
recommended to
recommend him
us.
if you want. I would bring him on the show if I were you.
John Hayden also says John Dole is spearheading this charge on Twitter. Let's go. And these linking to the
Yeah, let's
tweets.
check it out.
Yeah.
Shout out to John Doyle, I guess.
Yeah, man.
You know what's really crazy?
Check him out.
That Trump swung Miami for the House, and that this was Cigar and Jetty tweeted this. Zapata County in Texas went for Clinton
Shoot.
2-1.
Zapata.
What?
Shoe.
I don't know. Went for Trump 2-1 when Trump flipped it by a decent margin, by a few percentage points. The Latino community, I think they know full well what South American socialism is and what they're proposing here, and they flipped for Trump in a really crazy way.
I love that Florida, that the polls were so wrong about Florida. That's just it. It makes me happy,
I appreciate that. Yeah.
I mean, just the fact that they went for Trump in such a big way is. I love you, Florida. Like
I like that, and I'm happy to see Hispanics being bled off the Democrats.
Yeah.
Thank
That's
God.
wonderful. Yeah.
Baczynski says hyperinflation is simple. It's a mass psychological effect. First sign is stocking goods. Money value per unit diminishes as more is needed to buy, and more people start stocking, i.e. paper. It snowballs. Take it from me, a Brazilian. Interesting. Mad Wolf says YouTube didn't notify me when you started streaming. That's because we're talking about naughty things.
Yes.
We're not
Trying
supposed
to.
to.
Yeah, we're having
So
very
naughty.
demonetizable opinions here.
Yeah.
We are.
Trey Patterson says, honestly, I'm happy dying on this hill with this close of an election. And after beating what all the polls and media said, then taking ground in the House, I can live with this. GG, boys and girls. What are your thoughts, Tim? Can you live with this? Oh, definitely. Like I said, there's kind of like a tepid satisfaction if the Republicans keep the House and Biden ends up winning. Obviously, yeah, we want Republicans to take everything because there's a lot of things that got to be cleaned up. But I will take a kind of ceasefire in the culture war. Biden's not he's going to be held back a bit by the Senate. He'll still do a lot of really bad things as the commander in chief. But for the most part, it'll be constraint. So it's not ideal, but it's not the apocalypse. The apocalypse is Democrats taking everything.
No, right now it's we're looking at a few years of gridlock easily. Yeah, absolutely. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. That's all I'm gonna say.
Maybe the movies will open back up. How long until you think COVID lockdowns are gone?
Oh, like next week.
Well, Trump, Biden's got to be.
If Biden's announced
Yeah,
as the winner,
he's
declared. So, yeah,
just it's like poof, it's gone.
It's I mean, it's great. I mean, think about it. I was here, like at the peak of COVID when Trump was when he contracted COVID. That was like my first appearance here, and now I'm here near the end of it. Because Biden's probably gonna win.
In all seriousness, I don't think if Biden wins, COVID stops. I think a couple of months after Biden gets in, COVID clears up, and
Well, I'm gonna say that you're never gonna hear the phrase "dark winter" again. Like Biden is just like death. You're never gonna hear him. You're not gonna hear him do like the daily tally of deaths every day. You're not gonna hear that ever again. He's never gonna do that, and he's gonna be a lot more positive.
I am outraged right now.
I can tell.
Because of this super chat.
What did he say?
Oh.
YY Yames says, Tim, the last 24 hours have been stressful, man. I think I may be experiencing Shrunalimanana pressure.
He spelled it wrong.
No, that is incorrect. And I've seen so many conservatives putting an L in this.
How dare you?
There's no L.
No.
Come on, guys.
Just take the L.
Inanna
Take it out.
Shaba de pressure. I don't know what he was trying to say. True to national cooperation under pressure.
Yeah.
But he talks really fast. He can't talk as fast as I can.
No, he can't.
True to national cooperation under pressure.
No
Can't talk
one
as fast
can.
as me,
He
folks.
can
That's true.
barely talk.
Yeah, exactly.
So I sat and listened to this, and I transcribed it. True and Inanna.
So many times.
Shaba de pressure.
So many
True and
times.
Anana Shaba to pressure.
It might be True and Inanna.
True and Anana Shaba to pressure.
Yeah, but I
True
spelled
and
it out. True and Inanna Shaba de
True and Anana
pressure.
Shaba to pressure.
He
Yeah.
sure
Bad
did.
care.
But thank you for that super chat. That was,
Yes.
it was very informative.
Alexander Farah says, man, it looks bad. Joe Biden is a tyrant, but does not have his mind. I have no idea who would run in 2024. There was like a video of Joe Biden like bumbling around and Obama's trying to like guide him on where to go. It's just like, it's dude, I've seen people in their old age and you're like, no, this way, grandpa. And he's like, oh, Badacath care. And you're like, that's right, Badacath care, just right in here. And you sit down and can we get him some oatmeal?
Speaking of Obama, it was the kind of like the Democratic conventional wisdom that if Biden became president, that he would nominate Obama to the Supreme Court.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
I've heard that, and I'm just like, do you think he'd even want that? Really? Like, and he's never served as a judge.
Yeah.
I mean, Kagan didn't serve as a judge either. I think that's kind of important. When they were saying that Amy Coney Barrett She had only been a judge for like 2.5 years. Like, well, yeah, Kagan never was, so, who cares? But anyway, Obama for Chief Justice.
My goodness.
Ryan Kugler says, "Viva America! Whatever the outcome, we stand together." I like that. I like
I like
that.
that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the guy that directed the Rocky movies, the new one, Ryan Kugler? Is
it?
I don't think so.
I don't
He's
know.
he's
Oh,
totally
maybe-
watching.
maybe-
yeah,
he's-
super chats.
I'm sure we've got some high-profile people who are watching.
Yeah.
Sure we do. Yeah.
I say this all the time. I got texts. I text message with like rock stars, celebrities, pro skaters, and artists in Hollywood and stuff. And there's more than you realize. They're scared to say it because they'll be excised immediately from the industry.
I want names, Tim.
Just put together a name of all of these people and just destroyed their lives.
Yeah,
Now, to be
exactly.
fair, I think each and every one of you should come out and say what you think and why you think it. And I got to be honest, I think many of these people, if Trump ends up losing and you wanted Trump to win, then I think you should, bear some responsibility for your inability to tell people why they should. We just talked about low information voters. People who don't know why they're voting, but they've heard over and over again that Trump is bad, so they have to go do it.
Yeah.
If you were a high-profile person who was scared of losing your job, but you did support the president, and you didn't come out and speak for him, well, then you have no one to blame but yourself. Everybody's got to take some kind of risk to stand up for what they believe in. If you're not willing to do it, then you don't get it.
But not
Absolutely.
every celebrity, like say Taylor Swift, she doesn't know what she's talking about.
Right.
She's just like,
I
well,
disagree.
Democrat.
Think about the environment.
Taylor Swift.
Think about the environment they created, where celebrities can't support Trump but can support Biden.
Yeah, of course.
This is why low information people came out and supported Biden,
And-
because people who are high profile and have large followers were too scared to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to tell you, man, I know some of these people, they're high profile, but they're not as rich as some might think. Some of these people, they don't make that much money, and so they're really looking at like serious harm. But I know some people who are extremely wealthy, and it's like you got nothing to lose, nothing. Yeah, maybe your career is over in acting, but you are rich.
Yeah, well, and it's unfortunate, but the reason a lot of people get into those fields is because they have this desire for human respect, and I
Yep.
think that's where a lot of it comes from. Even if you can be safe and retire on the money you have now, there's the thrill of continuing to be famous, but also just this desire that all of us have to be loved and accepted, and that's not necessarily a bad thing unless it comes at the expense of the truth. Mm-hmm. And it sounds like it is here for many of these people, and that's unfortunate.
All right, let's see. Skill Iona Rex says, how do you think Trump would be able to prove to the Supreme Court of the massive amount of fraud the left is doing? He's not suing for that. Trump is suing to stop the voter counts in 3 states, Georgia, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, so that they are granted meaningful access to observe the tabulation. And it is very likely they're going to be suing, I don't know if they've done it yet, to prevent the counting of any ballot that comes in after Election Day. Now, that's why Project Veritas, what they're saying is significant. According to Project Veritas, you've got someone claiming that they're going to backdate ballots that come in. I think extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. So I think if a claim is made, we investigate, but we require evidence for any claim.
Well, if they can take 15 FBI agents to investigate a noose.
You mean a garage pull rope?
That wasn't even a noose.
A garage pull rope. Well, was it a noose? It wasn't a noose. It was sort of a noose.
It was a knot that kind of looked like a noose. It was not intended to be one.
So if they can do that, they can investigate voter fraud, hopefully. And and the chat, I'm sure the chat's going to go crazy. But if Trump wins, I hope the first thing he does is fire Chris Wray.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's gonna
please.
and what, Gina Haspel and right?
Yeah, Gina Haspel. Yeah.
And then he's gonna fire. Who else is gonna? Mark Esper.
Fauci.
Fauci's been wrong about so much. I don't get it. Have you seen the montage of Fauci being
rid of this
wrong?
dude. Oh yeah, no,
He was just saying what the media was saying, so I don't mean to drag him, but it's like the media would say something and then 2 days later he'd say it. He would wait.
yeah.
And I was always like, is he just saying what NBC just said? 'Cause,
He
like,
thinks he's a politician now, and also Chris Redfield, and get rid of Jerome
Isn't
Adams.
that the guy from Resident Evil? It is, right?
No,
same one.
well, no, from the CDC director.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, not the guy from Resident Evil.
No, but
Is
fire,
it- was-
but
wasn't-
fire him too.
Yeah.
Wasn't that the guy's name?
I'm
Fire everyone.
I think it. I think it
that's
is. Yeah, get like clean. I really.
It is. Chris
really-
Redfield is the guy from Resident Evil, and in the
How
real
did
world,
you
he's the
know
CDC
that?
director. That's crazy.
Yeah.
What?
That can't be good.
Are we in a simulation?
Wait, click it.
Biohazard.
We talked about this. Yes, Jack Dorsey runs it.
Wait, I'm so
That's
curious.
a sloppy
Yeah, Chris
mistake
Redfield. He's like
that we
the he's
made.
like the OG character from Resident Evil.
Yep.
Is it the same person?
But yeah,
What?
and,
Yes.
and think about it. Well, it was known as Biohazard, right? And now he's running as a CDC.
Oh my gosh,
Right?
he's Umbrella.
Exactly.
I
He's
knew
Umbrella
it.
Corporation.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, no.
That's some crazy.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Andrew Jones
love
says,
this
if
movie.
Trump loses and Biden takes office, what does Trump's future look like?
His Twitter is gone in 15 minutes now.
Yeah.
How
No,
long-
no,
no.
I was thinking that.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I
Yeah.
think
Gonna
Twitter will
delete
just
that.
kind of just
Sweep him off.
yeah.
He's
yeah.
I
not
don't
the
think so.
president anymore, so there's nothing.
Yeah,
I don't
they're
think
like-
so. They Twitter was dying before Trump joined, so they're going to try and
Really?
milk it for all it's worth for quite some time. Yes, Twitter was dying
That's
before
not
Trump
true.
joined.
Twitter was doing fine.
No, they
You're
weren't.
spreading fake news, Tim. We have to
Yeah,
shut down
that's
your
not
Twitter
true.
account.
That's not true.
We're trying to improve.
That's fake news.
Oh.
Your fake
Yeah, they were
news.
the cable news. Like Trump saved the media industry. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
Pumping ridiculous amounts of money into their viewership.
Oh yeah.
That's also really true.
I am so
it was
excited.
symbiotic though. Like they gave him so much free press.
They
You know
totally
what
did.
I tell people, like I get these messages like from the lefties. They're like, one guy, I was talking about this the other day. One guy who's like a high profile lefty said, I can't wait till Trump is out of office so that you go away. And I'm like, I've been doing this work for a decade. Like,
Why would
it
you
doesn't
go away?
It doesn't just stop. Like, I don't just magically quit my job, which I've been doing
Yeah.
for 10 years.
Yeah, when Biden's president, nothing will upset me anymore. So
Right,
where's the
exactly.
content
Nothing will
going to
matter.
come from?
Continue.
No,
Yeah.
they really think like all social ills will be cured and everyone will be like dancing under the rainbow and singing Good
This
Morning
is like-
Starshine and you know.
This
No, it's
is
like-
like when Trump was impeached and they're like, so when does he leave office? Like he's not actually gonna leave office, guys.
that's
man.
fantastic.
I'm sorry.
How could you like? I guess the challenge is
great.
these people are wrong all the time.
Constantly.
Everything wrong.
Yeah.
Everything.
Rug.
And then it's like I'll say something like, "My pizza is supposed to be delivered by 8:30, and it's 8:57." You were wrong. Oh my, you're so dumb. It's like, okay.
It's a cope.
It's funny that like you have these people screaming yesterday that Trump's going to lose and it's going to be a Biden landslide and like you're going to see, and then the Republicans actually make gains in the House, and it's like they hold their ground a little bit in the Senate and might lose. It was a wash for the most part. Biden might win. We'll see what happens.
We'll see.
But
Pray he
the
doesn't.
people who are like, I don't know, were the ones who ended up being right, huh? Someone says Pence Crenshaw 2024.
Oh,
maybe,
man.
maybe.
No, I think there needs to be a female on the ticket.
Pence does
You
not have
social
Christy Noem.
justice warrior.
Christy
No-
Noem. Noem.
Christy Noem.
She's so good.
I love Kristi Noem.
I do
love
She
her.
did a great job with COVID in South,
did
South
well.
Dakota.
I would.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean,
They threw a parade for her.
South Dakota did a great job because it's just
That's
like,
South
you know,
Carolina or South
Yes.
Dakota. Yeah,
there's
yeah.
just like nobody there.
Right.
It's,
That helps.
It's just such a yeah.
That
That
helps.
definitely helps. Same with Montana. But yeah, I believe that there
Noam
should
Haley,
be,
Haley Noam.
Oh yeah.
I don't know him.
Well,
Ha, ha.
you know,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That was horrible.
You're terrible.
remember
Yeah.
if you criticize Kamala Harris, you're a sexist,
Of course.
and
And
also a
racist.
racist,
Yeah.
right? But I want to see everybody, you know, say that about, you know, Kristi Noem or Nikki Haley or maybe Joni Ernst. At one point, Joni Ernst was in
She's rising
contention
star,
to be
yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, well,
Trump's vice president.
It's interesting you should mention that if you criticize Kamala Harris, you're racist and sexist. Because if that's
I-
the case, she might agree to be your running mate.
I think. Listen.
Yes.
If Trump loses, and this is something we need to seriously consider, then we need to preserve his brain in a cyborg body
Yeah.
Yep.
for
Freeze him.
Robo Trump
Mecha
2024.
Trump. Mecha Trump.
Mecha Trump.
Make it
He's,
up.
yeah, his, dude,
No, you
he'll-
got to do a robot version.
2020. I don't know how it is Trump. 2024. I am Robo Trump. I will win.
Yes.
Trump has enough money that when they start, what's it called? I'm blanking on this.
Cryogenics.
Not cryogenics. What's it called when you actually start to combine yourself with a computer? I'm totally blanking on this. It's a pretty
Cybernetics.
Cybernetics. That's right. Yeah.
Cybernetics.
As soon as that becomes accessible to the wealthy, he's going to be the first to buy in because he knows that he has a mission to continue. to run.
Neuralink. Download my brain.
Save it for the people.
Exactly.
The people need me.
Could you imagine if they downloaded his brain into like a mainframe and then created like AI Super Trump who runs for office and wins?
And it just lived on Twitter.
That would be amazing.
as its main hub, and it just
I
literally,
wonder-
dude, he had the processing power to comment on everything everyone tweeted all
my
the time.
gosh.
So we were all just constantly getting roasted by
Wait,
Trump,
wait.
no matter what we said or what we did.
Hold on. This can be
That'd
done.
be so much fun.
We has someone done this where you take every one of Trump's tweets and then put them into an AI to like auto generate a Trump tweet?
I hope so.
No one's done that, have they?
Well, someone's gonna do it now.
Yeah.
Surely
They
one of the
absolutely
viewers
need
of
to.
We
this
have a lot
episode.
of smart viewers.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We do, yeah. We have many viewers.
An
on
auto
this one.
a Trump tweet generator? That'd be great.
Yeah.
It'd be so much fun.
All right.
And then you could do a Biden tweet generator too. It just says, masks. Look, the masks, man.
Andrew,
No, just be
Andrew.
Come on,
gibberish.
man.
It's like a gibberish
Here's the
generator.
situation. Masks.
Gibberish, come on, man.
That's
No,
called
no,
just,
it's
that's
called
called
just
just
come on, man.
smacking
Andrew,
the
Timothy,
keyboard.
this is very important. I'm going to say this right now. There is something called the Biden insult bot.
Oh, that's right.
If you have
yeah.
not
Yes.
checked out the Biden insult bot, you must do so now. Go to it, find it on Twitter. It's
Oh, man.
wonderful.
Yeah, he says he calls people
You
like
cherry-livered
old-timey-
gizzard
Yeah.
gobbler or something.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
It's
you
amazing.
dog-faced pony soldier.
Something like that. Exactly. It's based on that.
And he made that up. You know that, right?
That's
He totally
I,
did.
I
Yeah, yeah.
Of course.
Of
Where
course.
else could that have possibly come
There-
from?
there
If
was-
not Joe Biden's brain.
Well, there was a movie where there were people called pony soldiers, but that was about it.
that's
And then he
Right.
tried claiming you're a dog-faced pony soldier came from a
Nah,
movie. No,
nah.
it was just like him mashing random things in his brain together.
Yeah,
Not a
yeah,
real
he,
thing.
He definitely combined a couple things. There was there was a movie where somebody said the line dog, like dog faced, but not dog faced pony soldier,
Right.
lying dog face.
It was an original
Yeah.
sentence. That's the first time that phrase has been uttered in all
Ever
of human
been said.
history.
Yeah, I
When
can
he's
see
like,
that.
well,
Lying
my
dog-faced
brother
pony soldier.
said it. It's like, well, yeah, it's just
Crazy person.
It's kind of like saying, in Star Trek, like beam me up, Scotty. Like nobody ever said beam me up, Scotty.
Yeah, no one on the show. Yeah, that's
Right.
it's true. That's
Exactly.
never uttered
but,
on the entire
but
show.
it's part of the, same thing happened
And
to Joe Biden.
and no one ever said, "Luke, I am your father."
Right.
You know where that comes from? It comes from I think Tommy Boy, the movie Tommy Boy.
No, I think it was before that. I think people just kind of
Maybe.
it's like that. It's like the telephone episode.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The Simpsons.
You know what the real line is from Empire?
Yes. Hang on a second.
What did he say?
No, well, he says I am your father separately because
He says
you do not.
He says, "No, I am your father." Skywalker says, "You killed my father," and he goes, "No,
No, I
I
am
am,
your-
your father."
I knew that.
He didn't say, "Luke, I am your father." Anyway, now that we got through that Star Trek lore,
Yes, wonderful.
Star
Thank you
Trek.
guys. Star Trek.
Star Wars
Star
lore.
Wars.
Oh my God.
Oh, we're
How
in
tired
trouble.
is Tim?
Oh
I
my!
have-
Oh,
I
the
have-
chat's going nuts.
Oh my gosh.
I have never been concerned for my safety with anything Antifa, but now confusing Star Wars and Star Trek, I think I'm going to hire a
You
bodyguard.
started
Yeah.
a holy war. You
You
All right,
started a
did,
holy war.
yeah.
name all the captains from Star Wars.
Star Trek?
Wars.
Oh my goodness! You're making it worse. We've got Kirk, Picard, Janeway.
Dick
Who was in
Cheney, I don't know.
Enterprise? I don't even remember. Kirk, Picard, Janeway.
the Quantum Leap guy.
Yeah, Scott
Scott
Bakula.
Bakula.
Archer. Yeah.
And
And then they
Deep
released
Space
a new
Nine,
one who-
but that wasn't a ship. What was his name? Deep Space Nine? No. Yeah. Deep Space Nine. That was a good one. I like Deep Space Nine.
He's the
I
best
never watched
captain. I just can't remember his freaking name.
Yeah, I forgot his name.
Yeah. And
yeah.
then they made Star Trek Discovery, and it just I
Nah,
never really
just-
watched it. I don't think it
even-
counts.
We
Yeah.
don't. We don't talk about that.
Okay. Where are we? The internet's giving us the business.
Oh, no.
I got an important super chat.
Which is bad for business.
Sid Alpha says, fellow YouTuber, but I focus on gaming. With that understanding, at what point does fraud catching become too late? Because at this point, how many potentially unlawful ballots will be cast where their validity will not be able to be determined?
It's fair.
I'm sorry, but to be completely honest, cue the banhammer. Mail-in voting has no chain of custody. That's it. End of story.
I can't believe you said that, Tim.
That's it. There's no chain of custody. We don't know where any of these votes came from. They've created. It's like you guys know what Tor is? The onion relay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, that's what ends up happening. So when you actually have in-person voting, we know where votes come from. We know who came in. In fact, you probably got cameras.
Well, this is why this is one of the arguments for election observers. To actually say, hey, where are those boxes coming from?
That doesn't matter. The post office. Where do the ballots come from? I don't know. From a box.
Yep.
But then you put them as you can count them, but you say, okay, this batch is sketchy.
Why is it
And
sketchy?
Because they came in November
No.
November 5th.
Listen, if everybody in an area put their ballot in the mailbox then the mailbox is going to have a big old stack of mail-in ballots go to the post office and then get sent to the Board of Elections.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know where those individual mail-in ballots come from. There's no chain of custody. Unless we put a security camera on every mailbox to track who's doing it, then you'd have to start cross-referencing all the different videos because you might have one person dropping off 3 ballots at each mailbox to obfuscate what they're doing. The point is, the moment we switched to mass mail-in voting, the entire election, in my opinion, had become insecure.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it.
Oh, yeah.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you
100%.
do?
Yeah, I don't know.
You can't do anything about it. What can you do?
You can't do anything about it.
Seems awful.
And what if you go in and like track down each individual voter? You're never gonna know.
We might as well just hold the
That could
election
take
again.
that could take like 2
I
or 3
think you're
days.
right.
That would be the easiest thing, just to hold the election again
You're totally right. Let's
They
do
did
it.
that in
an election
Patterson, New
week.
Jersey.
and have everybody vote in person.
That's true. They did do
Yeah.
that in Patterson.
Donald Parrott says Republicans need to keep and increase the minority vote. Pence Elder, Larry Elder, 2024.
Huh.
Well, they
Cisco.
Yeah, Larry Elder.
Cisco. Benjamin
Cisco.
Cisco.
Yes.
And he was great.
Yeah.
he was the
Yeah,
best
he-
captain.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, is this really? I thought you were thinking of like another politician you'd put up in 2024, but it's a Star Trek
Cisco.
character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not Cisco.
I was
the
like,
actor
oh, I
with
feel
the-
really uninformed because I don't know who this
I don't know who
political
that
leader who
is.
they're really excited about is. Oh, it was a Star Trek captain. Great.
Yeah, great. Sorry about that segue.
but not Cisco the rapper with Cisco
Thong-
with the Q.
Thong Song.
Yeah, not that guy. He is not the captain.
He
no.
seems terrible. I'm
Let's
good.
see. Fulgrim says, Fulgrim the Illuminator, if this is mail-in voter fraud, why doesn't Trump do something about it? I get mad when someone steals my pencil, let alone an election, because he can't do anything about it.
What's he
If
supposed
like
to do?
Well, he's suing.
I could get banned on YouTube for even saying the things I've said so far. They could just outright ban all of my channels.
Yeah.
I know people have been perma-banned from YouTube permanently for making jokes. I'm not kidding. Like people I know are like making stupid
Monkey.
jokes that were very clearly.
I'm glad I
permanently
don't
banned.
make any of those because that, I'd be at risk.
I got a
That's
text
scary,
message.
yeah.
I made a joke.
Your
The-
channel's so serious.
Yeah. It's
the
very
morning
extreme.
the morning of the election, there's 2 first to vote villages in New Hampshire. It's like what's it called, like Dixon Hitch or something, I don't know, in Millsfield. And Trump won Millsfield 16-5. Tiny little towns, they vote right at midnight.
Yeah.
And so I made the joke with 0.0001% reporting, I'm calling it for Trump. And that was a joke. And I had people text me saying like, yo, they're going to ban you for that. You need to be careful. I'm like, I'm not taking that down, dude. It's a joke. And
Y'all can deal.
I said, I'm calling it for Trump. Y'all can start rioting now.
Okay.
I'm
Well,
like-
that was the
I like
that was
that.
the key.
But I tweeted right under immediately this is Twitter, so I have to inform everyone this is in fact a joke. It doesn't matter. They're 2 different tweets.
And then
Sure.
everyone
Yeah.
said, dude, he's claiming it's a joke now. But did he really think
I know,
people
I
should
know.
riot over 0.1% of the vote?
It was
Tim
5
One
minutes.
said
It was
it,
point
yeah.
0.00001%.
It makes it
5
all the
minutes
more.
later.
makes
he
it all the more
meant
terrible.
it.
He totally meant it.
Whatever, man, dude. I am so over this authoritarian garbage.
Yeah.
I actually
I
like
don't care.
You like it?
I love it. The authoritarian garbage.
you don't.
My favorite kind of garbage,
Fake
frankly.
news.
I, for one,
We'll get
welcome
used
our
to
new
it.
Biden overlord.
I do too. Yeah.
Oh man, rough.
Yeah, that's the what if we just did the show where we were like, we've all come to love our
He's
Biden.
great.
I
Got
welcome
Biden,
him.
Got my
Biden-
lobotomy last night.
Biden is good.
So
Biden
many
is
super
family.
chats. I love this, by the way.
You want to read one?
Um,
Just don't read the ones where they're putting all the racial slurs
let
in. Right?
me.
Yeah, like, don't
let
say
me put
anything
on my
offensive.
glasses here.
Let me read one right now. You find one.
Okay.
Charles Turner says, Tim, there is something you can do with these mail-in ballots that are backdated for being late or not separated like in Pennsylvania. You declare that all mail-in ballots in those states contaminated and throw them out. Yeah, that's true. Yep. Uh-oh, what's it saying? What's it saying now? YouTube's yelling at us. Why are you yelling at YouTube?
Why is YouTube yelling
Warning:
at us?
They're
the
saying-
stream's current bit rate is low.
No, that's whatever. Anyway.
That's all. It's whatever.
Okay.
We're good.
We don't care.
Here I'm gonna read one. I have glasses, my Clark Kent glasses here. Max.
Wait, who are you?
Wait, who
I
are
thought,
you? Oh my
I thought we
gosh.
just said just don't walk, don't
Here,
run.
hold on. Do I
don't
do
walk,
this
run?
too? Like put these.
Yeah,
on
no,
the-
get your COVID mask on, and we will.
Max Lee says, please take a deeper look into the Michigan vote. I assume it's false hope, but if you look deep into the Secretary of State
It's
website,
fake news.
Trump still has the lead with only 3 counties left to put into votes.
That's not true.
That's not true.
Yeah, this is
This-
one of the biggest challenges. So I looked at it. It's not a real website, as far as I can tell, and it's got Joe Biden at like 1 point something million votes when all other tallies have him at 2 point something million. So yeah, it looks like Trump's winning when you take 1 million votes away from Joe Biden. And this website is just it's not even a .gov, but it's got a fake .gov up top. So
Just don't, do some research. Don't jump to conclusions. I know everybody's like really hypersensitive right now, but when I saw that, I'm like, yeah, this is
Like,
something we can debunk
if it's
here.
something if
Yeah.
it's something that you would like to be true, then definitely double check it.
yep, it would not be true. Yep, it will not be.
Daniel Yuri says none of the right-wing alternative talk show hosts will ever run for president. I believe that's true.
I am.
Why would anyone
But
want to give
a
up?
cartoonist might.
Well, if they I don't
Seamus
think they can.
2024. I won't
Yes.
be old enough.
Here we go. No, never mind.
Never mind.
The racial slurs, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. This the
All the
yeah,
cursing.
it threw me off. Sorry.
Yeah.
Once I read the entire tweet.
You're
The
like,
most
wait,
important
This
super
entire-
chat, Jeremy Wien says, Cisco, the only captain to punch out Q.
Woo.
That's
Did he
true.
punch Q?
Yeah, it was
Wow.
That's great. Well, I'm sick of him
QAnon.
spreading those conspiracy theories.
That's
on-
right.
yeah.
We got to punch him too.
I just have to say I watch Red Letter Media. Mike and when Mike and Rich talk about Star Trek, and I've never seen every Star Trek episode before, and they always talk about it. Red Letter Media, they did the Phantom Menace 70-minute
right.
review, and
Yeah.
that's kind of put them on the map. And now they're great. They're one of my favorite channels. But every time I see them talk about Star Trek, I'm so lost because I've never seen all of the, I like hearing about it, and so then I made a conscious effort to go through methodically like every
Oh wow.
Next Generation episode, and I'm on like season 6 now, and I've seen I saw Voyager before I saw
That was the one
Next Gen.
that's what I watched
Yeah.
as a kid. Yeah. With
Yeah,
my dad.
So someone is saying go to michigan.gov, search results, Trump is up. I tried.
I'm gonna get a
find it.
virus, but I'll try it.
And the links that people have been sharing link to a fake website that looks like michigan.gov.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to
Michigan.gov.
find it.
All right, where am I? All right, Michigan.
I don't know.
.gov. I'm there. I'm on the website.
Do you see any results for?
I don't.
I
Right.
see Gretchen
I don't see-
Whitmer.
Yeah,
Ew.
I don't see it.
Maybe it's mi.gov.
Oh, that's weird. I don't know.
Michigan. Oh no, this does look like the Michigan website.
I know, but is there election results saying Trump is winning?
I don't see election results anywhere, frankly, but I also don't know how to read. So
Oh, okay, well,
that's
I
kind of a
mean-
damper on things.
I mean,
I never learned.
oh wow.
Just doodled in class all day, and boy, do I not regret it.
But you know how to draw.
Do you
right.
read music, by the way? Yeah, did everybody see Tim's music video?
Everyone
which is-
should have seen
which is
Tim's
great.
music video by now. Yeah.
But like he was playing a new song downstairs.
Yeah,
earlier,
he's like
and it was-
a million.
and it was very nice actually.
It's very good.
It was.
I've never played it on this because I wrote it only a few weeks ago.
It was
very
it
good,
was
says
it was a
Tim.
little mellower. It was nice. But Mike, you asked about, you said you don't know how to read, but
I don't know
but
how
there's
to
a lot
read
of
at all.
musicians.
I wasn't
that-
talking about music, and I was being serious.
But there's a lot of musicians that don't know how to read music. Do you read music?
No. When I was younger.
Okay.
When I was little, I could read a bit.
Okay.
And then I just totally dropped off lessons and all that stuff.
good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
It was
great.
a waste of time.
Well,
Music comes from your heart.
Apparently, you don't need
Right.
it.
Oh no.
You read music from the heart. Is that,
For those that don't know, I have a music video
He
up
does.
on this channel. It's called Will of the People. And if you search YouTube for Timcast IRL, Will of the People, original song and video, you can watch it. You should check it
is
out.
wonderful.
Because it was a work of passion.
a labor of love.
Labor of
Yes.
love. It was mostly, I don't think it's the best song I've ever written. I just think it was a good story that I wanted to tell before the election came out. So I've got a bunch
did.
of really poppy songs that I'm like, do we do the really like poetic and storied songs or do we do like the pop songs? Because I got a couple really poppy ones that like everyone's like, oh, it's so catchy, I want that one. And I'm like, those are easy.
know,
Those are just like, I've been
have
playing music since I
political-
was 7.
You have political commentators like Joe Scarborough and they have his band, and
He's a band.
He's awful.
Oh, I'm sure he is. My
his
God.
music, like, he was on Stephen Colbert, and Stephen Colbert was basically like,
Please stop.
on the same stage as the Beatles.
Oh no.
Joe Scarborough. Oh, the name of the band is Scarborough, and the name of it
hurts.
was called Monkey House, and it was so bad, right?
You guys
And
are
then-
being really mean.
No, but then,
No,
but-
he's awful.
But then you go, you see Tim, who's like, pretty famous guy, pretty well known dude, and you think, well, oh, he plays music too. Oh, really? Okay, let's see what
see what
happens
he's-
there.
yeah.
And you're like, wow, this is really good.
Oh, I gotta stop and
Give
say
an update.
I went to Michigan.gov
Uh-huh.
I clicked elections.
Whoa.
I went to general elections, and it does have Donald Trump winning.
It does.
What?
51.44.
Hold on. What do I told
Did
you?
they
I
Go to
just not
said-
update
Michigan.gov.
it?
Click elections.
Hang on.
Where is elections written? I don't need. That starts with the letter E. E's the one that's like.
Yes.
If you
E
can't
is-
see the word elections, then you need to go to the eye doctor.
Okay.
It's right there, right when you go to the website.
E.
I think he might be looking at the wrong Michigan site.
Are
Shane.
you
I
at-
am looking at the wrong Michigan
Possibly,
site.
yeah.
Michigan.gov.
Okay.
And literally, it's like right there, elections.
Oh, cool. Michigan.gov.
Then there's general election results. And it's saying right now for the president, it says Donald Trump is winning. However,
And
this
for the senator, wow.
this is strange because their results are very, very different. So the official results from the from the New York Times says Joe Biden has Michigan at 2.751 million and Trump has 2.631 million. When I go to Michigan.gov, it says total votes for Trump is 2.3 and for Biden is 2.1. So this must be inaccurate.
It might be old.
Well, it says there's 3 counties remaining.
Interesting. And that does say
And-
98% reporting. So that could be 3 counties remaining.
More than 98%
Wow.
reporting.
Interesting. That is interesting.
That is really weird.
What's,
That's right.
What's
yeah.
causing
But-
this discrepancy?
I don't know.
Maybe I would say since it's a government-run website,
Yeah.
that not everything
Probably
goes
Fair enough.
incompetent. That
Yeah.
makes
So
sense.
Fair enough,
yeah, I think that's probably your best explanation.
I don't know. I think I would trust the Michigan.gov over New York Times. The New York Times has nothing to do with the Michigan government. If the Michigan,
Well, yeah, but I mean, if they're not updating their site, they're not updating their
What
site.
if?
too bad.
What if what the media is telling us about what's being reported in these elections is all completely off? It's
And
just
we
what
just
they want
trust
to
we
the
just
New York-
haven't. We haven't
I'm
looked
sorry.
at any of the.
Yeah, we trust them. That's a
If
good
I was
question.
going to ask someone for an official confirmation about who is currently winning in a state, would I go to random New York Times reporter or Michigan government official?
I would make a phone call. I wouldn't necessarily go to a website and take that as gospel.
Yeah, I
I would.
wouldn't.
No.
definitely-
I know. I'm
yeah.
just saying right
But yeah,
now.
no, I agree.
I'm not
agree.
saying Trump won Michigan. I'm saying this is interesting.
Oh.
Why should I just trust the New York Times?
Right.
Yeah, it's a good
Although
question, right?
it's really interesting. Let's put it
They
that
are
way.
different.
That is
Seamus, you
weird.
don't make predictions normally. but
I've
do
never
you-
made a prediction before in my life.
That's not
But
true.
I predict that you're going to ask me to make one. Is that correct?
Oh, clever.
Do you think John James is going to win?
I think he's going to take it all.
No, I think he already
don't
lost.
know. I don't.
What?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
See,
To Peters?
John
Right
James.
now,
Peters?
they are calling Michigan in the Senate for Gary Peters. Yeah. Yeah, they called
That's-
it.
Really close, though.
Every
Peters,
time I saw
Peters
him,
is up 73,200, 73,185.
Oh, that's
what did I just say?
disappointing.
73,185 votes. Yeah, Peters won. Yeah, it is disappointing. It is.
it's crazy. Yeah,
That
I don't know.
stinks.
Hopefully, someone can get to the bottom of this. The whole weird Michigan election.
I
It
don't
says it
believe
was-
that Gary Peters won. Nobody liked him.
What is this? It
I'm
says,
talking about.
no. This is crazy. The
Boy.
Michigan.gov website links, and it says it was updated as of today at 9:37 p.m.
That is just now.
Yeah, updates every 10 minutes. It says here too.
What
yeah,
the
what
heck?
the heck?
Weird.
Oh, what the heck?
Updates 10 minutes.
Now I want to look at other states.
Okay.
I think
I'm gonna look at
that
other states.
is
All right,
weird.
that's concerning.
I think
All
that's
right.
a
Weird.
conspiracy
Disconcerting.
theory. It's a conspiracy theory. You guys sound insane right now.
Got another fun super chat?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Uh-oh. There goes your
Kronos
channel.
Highwind says, kind of ironic the Dems have become the party of the status quo and Republicans are becoming the party of change.
Yeah.
DeSantis, random congressman 2024. Well, we've gone a little bit over. This was a really, really huge show, but I think
Super fun.
I'm so dead and I really need to make sure I sleep tonight because I didn't
Me
sleep last night. I
too.
barely slept. So my friends, there's a guy over here. His name is Seamus.
My name is Seamus Coughlin. I run a channel called Freedom Tunes. Check it out. Freedom Tunes. FreedomToons.com. I'm sorry,
What? No.
YouTube.com/freedom. But also, I guess I do own the domain. So if you want to go there, YouTube.com/freedom tunes. I release a cartoon every single week. We usually on Thursdays, but we did one on Tuesday this week because we wanted to get it out before the election.
Very cool.
It was about Never Trumpers. If you want to make
Oh
fun of
my
those people,
gosh.
check that video out. Freedom Tunes, Never Trumpers. And you want to follow me on Twitter? That's at Seamus Coughlin if you can figure out how to spell it.
Good luck.
Seamus Coughlin.
Seamus Coughlin.
Just type
Yep.
in Freedom Tunes
Just
like I did.
Freedom
Yes.
Tunes. names in, I'll come up.
And who are you? You're apparently somebody.
Yeah, I am Andrew, the senior political analyst at Don't Walk Run.
Oh, the only political analyst.
Yeah, the only senior political analyst at Don't Walk Run Productions, and you can follow me on Twitter and Parler at Don't Walk Run, and you can also follow me on Instagram at Don't Walk Run Productions because I'm huge and on that
famous
platform. And of course, like Lauren Chen was here yesterday.
Yeah.
And I'm like talking with her on Twitter. I'm like, I'm going to demand selfies. She's like, oh, of course. Like, we never did it.
We never did
Oh,
either. Yeah.
You know,
Sad.
Well,
I told
thank
her
you.
not
Thank
to.
you.
I was like, you don't want to be. I was like, none of these.
Don't
you,
associate
I
with
was like,
them.
you don't want to be seen with anyone at Timcast. All right, word to the wise. Yeah.
But
Rude.
if you guys watched last night, it was really fun. And Tim, hanging out with Tim and Lydia, and Lydia, of course, has a great Twitter too.
Of course I do.
Yes.
Sour Patch Lids. That's correct.
yeah, last
And
night
a
was a lot of
follow.
fun. A lot of cool people
Okay.
yesterday.
My friends, I have a music video. We just
Yes.
put it out the day before the election. It is about the cycle of violence, revenge, and revolutions. It is called Will of the People. It is on this channel. Go watch it. And a lot of people are asking about iTunes and Spotify. Yeah, we're waiting on that. It actually takes like a week to list or whatever. So, but you can listen to it on YouTube. So YouTube Music is a way you can listen to it for now, and then it'll be up on like all the platforms. You can tell your little robot lady from Amazon to play it, and it'll play. So that's called Will of the People. It is on this channel, Timcast IRL. Search for it, and also follow me on. You can check out my other YouTube channels, YouTube.com/Timcast. YouTube.com/Timcast News. Those are just more podcasty segments. I do 6 of those between the channels every day. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Parler at Timcast. We do this show every Monday through Friday live at 8 p.m. We put up segments from the show throughout the next day. Subscribe, smash that like button, and hit the notification bell. We will be back tomorrow at 8 p.m., I think. What's tomorrow, Thursday?
Tomorrow's
We're
Thursday.
back tomorrow.
We'll be back. We have Drew Hernandez.
Drew Hernandez.
Thought I was back.
And
You are,
Seamus.
and Seamus.
How can
Seamus will be
You're
here.
gonna toy with my emotions like that?
You're
you guys?
both here.
No,
It's
you're
great.
both here. It's gonna be
You're
fun.
the favorite.
I know.
Okay,
Thank you
we
guys.
love you.
I can confirm
I need
that
my
he is the
egos.
favorite.
It's true.
I need my ego strokes.
It's
That's the only
Smash,
way.
smash that like button on your way out, and we will see you all tomorrow. And we're gonna have all the breaking updates and information. So we'll
So fun.
listen. If tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. YouTube.com/Timcast News is I always do a morning segment, so I'll have updates from overnight. We'll see how it goes. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you all next time.
Bye, everybody.
Love you guys.